Okay. Welcome back to the Straight and Curly podcast. My name is Neema. I go by Straight. This is my brother Omid. He goes by Curly. It's not our sexuality. It's our hairstyles.
Hello, everybody.
For the millionth time. I feel like I always got to preface that. Today, we have a special guest with us. And she's very funny, great actor, and the nicest person I've ever had the pleasure of working with. Stop. So please, give her a big round of applause. My friend, Alexandra Augustine.
Yeah.
They're in the building.
That.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, welcome.
Fans
What's up?
love me.
Yeah, they really love you. Yeah, they do. How are we doing today?
We're good. We're good.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, welcome
Thank
to
you
the
for
show.
having me. I'm very excited to be here. Mic in my face and everything.
I know,
So
right?
exciting.
Yeah, it seems very like formal and everything.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to get to know you over this next course.
for sure.
That's true. We just kind of like walked by each other last time. You were coming, or you leaving out. You were leaving. I was coming.
Yes.
Yeah. And
That's what
and now we're both sitting here. That is what she said.
That is what I said. No.
All right. So tell us about your Greekness. Let's get right into it.
Oh my gosh.
Identify yourself.
Well, first of all, you don't have a Greek name at all, except for Alexandra.
Like Alexandra's right. My last name is so not Greek. It's
So
actually
white.
German.
Oh, is it?
Oh, is it German?
Augustine.
It's German. Augustine. Yeah. Because my father is not Greek. This is always, so this is what always makes people be like, well, you're not a real Greek because I'm half, but like.
Oh, okay. I thought you were full this whole time.
Everyone thinks I'm full, but no. But I consider myself full because I speak the language. I can read, I can write. I spent my whole, I'm literate.
Illiterate or literate?
Fully literate in both languages and in French, but let's not get into that.
Damn.
But yeah, people are always like, you're not Greek enough. I'm like, why? I'm more Greek than half the people in Greece. Because I know the culture. I was literally raised on classic literature because my mom teaches the classics in Canada.
Oh, wow.
So I have
That's legit.
I know so many more things than the occasional Greek.
Right. And yet
person.
they look at you.
And they're like, you're half. So mudblood.
You're not Greek.
Yeah, right?
I bet they wouldn't feel that way if you sat down with a big plate of feta cheese.
Yeah.
Well,
and
yeah.
oregano, and they're like, wow, this girl can really eat.
Yeah.
Are
you an eater? I'm assuming, Greek, Italian, that kind of area of the world.
I'm an eater, but I hate cooking.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the way to put it.
So you're not a true Greek.
What is it about?
Literally just checking off things that I don't hit.
Okay, so what is it about cooking? That's interesting.
Well, because I'm celiac, I just hate putting together food that will taste. I think I just have a trauma around food tasting good because I literally just had to deal with the fact that for a long time there were no substitutes for gluten-free stuff. So I was eating cardboard half the time. So I was like, well, okay, stuff's not going to taste good. So I just kind of lost interest.
Wait, what's celiac again? For the people who don't know?
Yeah.
Celiac is when you're allergic to wheat and gluten. And it essentially tears the inside of your intestine when you eat it.
Oh.
And then it completely spikes your hormones and it makes you a terrible person. I'm so bad when I get poisoned. I'm the worst.
How did you find out
sandwiches later or what?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, we're actually eating Triscuits and those white. How did you find out? You just one day you're like, oh, this doesn't feel great.
Well, I always had stomach problems as a kid, and everyone was like, oh, whatever. You have stomach problems, you're just deal with it. And then my mom one day was like, we're going to go to the doctor and test this out. And there was this weird environmental doctor. It was hoodoo science at the time. And they were like, you just need to really stop eating wheat. And I was like, absolutely not. I was in denial for a year.
Wait, how old are you?
I was 19 when I found 18 turning 19.
Oh, okay. I thought you were really young and I would have been
so just a couple years ago then.
Yeah, thank you. No, wait, no, a while ago.
You almost gave it away there.
I did. I was gonna say that people know how old I am, but
I don't know how old you are.
I'm sure if we look up on IMDb, we'll see it.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Are you on there?
I'm definitely on there.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
I don't know if my birthday's on there though.
Oh,
right.
Maybe.
Yeah, I feel like people think that I'm 24, 25.
Yeah,
but really
but really I'm 42. No.
You're 30, right?
I'm 30.
30.
Yeah.
That's a nice number.
30?
I'm 30.
Oh.
I feel like you know this.
Maybe I do.
You should know this.
When's your birthday?
January 29th.
Oh, it's like,
we talked about this.
Fuck.
Yeah.
29th? Oh, day right before me.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Nice.
Yeah. Which is funny
Sick.
because my brother is the day after Neema.
Oh fuck. That's
Wow.
so random.
Isn't that so strange?
No, that's
Same
trippy.
but different.
yeah.
That's
And
so trippy.
you're in, what are you? You're 94.
I'm 94.
My brother's a 93. But,
Wow.
You're 91, I guess. Right.
and what you?
89.
You're an 89. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. What are the fucking odds of that?
Aqua gang in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you're
finally.
a Sag, right?
Yeah,
You're a
yeah.
Sag, yeah.
Yeah.
Finally, I'm not underrepresented.
Most of the
Two against
people
one, right?
in my life are Aquarius or like January.
What? Really?
But yeah, I don't
How
know.
can you handle that?
I know.
It's
a
too
lot.
much already dealing with one.
No, but like you seem very different from me. Like
You
you,
do.
you
What do
don't
you
seem like all up in people's faces.
Is that like your self audit of yourself? Like very
think-
in your face? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I think I'm like too much to people sometimes.
Yeah, well, I know what you mean.
Are you agree?
Yeah, you're definitely very out there. No, I can, okay, because I know both of you,
Yes, you do.
right?
Yep.
I can definitely attest to the fact that he's not like that at all. Like he's never like in someone's face. He's not really like outgoing right away or like, as animated as you are.
Yes.
Which is kind of weird because I mean, especially because you're both Aquarius, literally the same day pretty much. It's like
Yeah.
you guys are actually pretty different.
My
I
thing
thought
is-
you were more like me. But
My
like,
thing is, I'm consistently let down by how stupid people are, and so I have to reserve myself and my energy for people that I'm trying to be funny, but like
No, but
most
it's true.
people
Most
are
people are idiots.
most people are idiots. So I'm like, I'm not gonna get all like, dressed up and ready to put on this like Aquarian extroverted act where you guys haven't earned that from me yet. And so
Yeah.
I'm like this, like, I'm sitting on top
Yeah.
of this perch, just looking down at all the peasants and like,
you're definitely
That's very if
That's
if you believe in that kind of stuff though, that is very Aquarian to be like, I'm gonna reserve my energy to those who deserve it.
that's what you do.
I had to learn that though.
Yeah.
It was like kicked out of me as a young girl, and then I had to relearn it.
Why?
Not literally kicked out of me, but like, I don't know. I think that boundaries and like learning that not everyone deserves to be in your circle is something that you have to learn. I don't know gender wise if that's a thing or not, but like I definitely.
yeah, non-binary. Yeah.
I mean, like I don't know if it's different for men and it is for women growing up.
Right. Yeah.
But like, I definitely had to learn my boundaries.
Yeah.
But I do think that as Aquarians, like we naturally are like, you deserve my energy, you don't. I'm interested in you, I'm not interested in you. But I feel like I just had to relearn it.
And I feel like both of you guys choose wisely.
Is
Who
it
you
because we hang out with you? Is that why?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
You just bias.
he's like trying to position himself in the middle of this like Aquarian triangle.
Yeah. You guys are really good at choosing who you hang out with.
Yeah, we
It's
can
true.
see
But
that.
so are Sages. I mean, if you like, I don't know. I only know one Sag. It's my brother, and he's like, he's one of my favorite people in the world.
All right, what's the dumbest sign in the year?
Oh, I'm gonna offend people. The dumbest, like unintelligent.
I don't know, just like the worst.
Just the worst.
Okay, well, I've heard that Scorpios and Cancers are awful.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it kind of goes. They're literally crabs and a scorpion. Like,
Like, what are you?
Yeah.
which,
What is
That's
the
kinda
point of
weird.
you?
yeah. But here's the thing: is that my mother is a Scorpio and she's a lovely woman.
Yeah.
And has like a much bigger heart than like Scorpios were supposed to. And then I know Cancers who are just like lovely,
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
but
Maybe it's-
apparently.
Eh.
See, I don't know if I believe. Here's the thing:
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
don't know if I believe that stuff. But then sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, that's legit. And then other times I'm
Yeah.
like, this is bullshit.
Well, how much
Yeah.
of like the Aquarian thing do you feel like matches yourself?
All of it.
Really?
Wow,
yeah,
really?
which is weird.
Like
yeah,
what?
but I've never like what
Like, yeah.
we kind of like. We don't like being told what to do.
Number one.
That's exactly how he is.
It'll never
honest-
happen.
Like, fuck that.
Fuck that. Yeah.
Are you any inkling that someone's telling me what to do?
Oh my
I
God.
become a monster. A
Yeah.
monster.
It's like 0 to 1,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know. It's not even 100's not enough actually to
It's-
exemplify.
No, it's like to infinity. Like the anger of someone telling you what to do is like, oh my God. So that definitely. And I feel like we don't like to be tied down,
Yeah, that's a big one.
you know?
That's a big one for me.
And if we feel that our freedom is being encroached, we get angry.
Very good.
That's exactly.
You gotta be honest. Like you're almost hitting it point by point.
Yeah,
like,
legit.
Right.
like
And I don't know you, so I can't even say things that would like feed that. Like,
right. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
that's true.
exactly.
those things
Legit.
definitely, and I think those like run my life. Then there is the like outgoing thing, but I also find that can be very introverted if I find something that is feeding me energy that I want to be doing.
Totally.
So I don't know if the extrovert thing actually applies
Do you feel like your social battery like runs out?
with people.
Like like almost abruptly in a sense.
Yeah, that's another way I become a monster. I'm like, I'm exhausted. Fuck
Yeah.
you. You know.
Yeah. I'm not. We have to go now.
Yeah,
I know
that's
exactly what you mean.
like him. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
that's pretty
what you mean.
trippy.
Yeah, it's right. So then that's when I'm like, oh, maybe this is accurate. But
Maybe
then,
I don't know. It's times like these where I'm like, maybe this shit is fucking true.
right. Like, do you feel like you're a Sag?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that though. See,
There's
that's
so
the
many
thing.
things I'm like, yeah, this is fucking who I am or what I do.
Yeah. Right.
It's insane. It's like I'm like the fire sign apparently, so it's like I'm very outgoing. I'm always like around a lot of people or generally like likable with different types of people. I know, yeah.
Let's slow down on the left.
Yeah. Okay. Careful.
Let's not say things that are obviously stupid.
Yeah. Fuck you, introverts.
Yeah.
Why don't you go fucking sit in a corner by yourselves?
Well, as long as I can sing, I'm fine.
Yeah, and then like also not liking being tied down either. Like I like to move around a lot or like talk to different people, or I don't want to just like talk to one person. Like in terms of relationships or even friendships, like I just like being around a lot of people. And
Are you extroverted?
yeah.
You're
but I
100%
also
extrovert?
I am introverted though. Like
See, this is another thing. I'm like, is that an actual thing, or are people just both? Like, we're just human. Some people like to be alone. Some people like to talk, and then
maybe
vice
some
versa.
more than others.
Yeah.
Good point, actually. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Because Neema and I were talking about this whenever we filmed last 2 weeks ago, I guess. How everyone's like trying to be not in a box, but they put themselves in boxes. Like we just put ourselves in like 3 different boxes.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what if I want to be Cancer today? Like, what if I want to be an asshole today?
Yeah. No, I
I
don't
want to be
mean.
non-binary.
Yes, you keep going back to that. Are you trying to come out? Like, what's going on? Do you want me to call you they them?
Yeah. No, Z's or them.
Z?
Yeah, Z's or them. Yeah, that's what I.
Wait, is it
pronouns are.
why does or have a Z on it?
I have no idea. That's the new one.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Z's or them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait.
it's the new pronouns.
Okay, Z.
Well, I didn't. Yeah, but this is old news. I thought.
No, it's not.
Hold on a
This
second.
is new.
Z
Z,
and Zem.
Z's or them.
Oh, okay, I thought you were saying Z or Zem,
Oh,
and I
no,
was
no.
like,
Where's
why
the
are you putting a Z on the or?
Z's
Okay,
or?
that,
I get what you're
okay, yeah,
saying.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I knew that. Okay,
I have no idea what it means though.
I
just
think-
heard people do that.
I don't think it means anything.
Well, none of it means anything.
No, but I mean, like, I think honestly, personally, I think I would prefer that over they them, only because grammatically,
Yeah.
it's easier to
I agree with that.
to work with.
Yeah,
but
but still, it's dumb.
I know. Here's the thing. Okay, like just be whoever you want to be, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, why do you put yourself in this other box? That to me is the whole thing.
Well, the whole thing
Right.
with this community is that they don't label us, right?
Yes,
This
but
is-
then
we want to be, but then they say you have to label me as this.
and that's
So that's contradictory.
that's where my issue lies. Like, I'm all for, like, okay, you want to be they them, fine. It's a little bit more difficult to structure sentences for me personally. Like, I have to adjust to it. But
Yeah,
fine.
didn't you tell me you were trying to like tell someone something and then like
I was trying to tell
you
I was trying to tell a story, and I kept having to catch myself and like rephrase a sentence, which, like, listen, again, like, I'm very accepting, and there's no judgment there, but I do believe that, like, if you're asking people to put you in a certain box when you don't want to be in a certain box, can't you just be you? Like, can't you just,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can understand if you feel like you're one thing and you don't want to be that thing. Like, if someone came up to me and repetitively called me he, I'd be like, did I say something that, like, okay, the other day I was at puppy classes with my dog, and they kept calling my dog a he, and I was actively being like, it's a girl. Like, can you chill the fuck out?
Yeah.
It's a girl. So I understand it
Yeah.
in that position, because, like, the dog has no feelings about it whatsoever.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But I do. So if I was like, no, I'm a he, and people were calling me she, I could understand that being like frustrating.
That's a good point.
But I also see the side of it being like, why you desperately trying to fit into a box when you don't want to fit into a box. That's kind of my
also pretty much considering it a hate crime when someone else doesn't label you what you want.
That's only in Canada,
That's extreme.
right?
No, in the
For
States
now.
they do that too.
I don't know about the States. I don't think so.
A little bit.
But
It's not a law. No,
it's not a law in the States.
No,
I
not
don't
a
think.
law, but they still do it in the States. Like they
Well, that's
still
just called
attack.
cancel culture.
No, that happens
Yeah,
everywhere.
I
know.
hate cancel culture.
Yeah.
It just makes us so inhuman.
We actually
It's not real.
one of our earliest episodes of this podcast was on cancel culture, and that was one of the very first times that I saw in his eyes like something like a topic that he was really like, I'm gonna speak the whole time, like it's my show, because he's had so much to say about it, right? Being like a creator online and stuff like that. So I'm curious actually what your take is and what you've seen, or maybe what you experienced even.
Excuse me. Burping right into the mic.
Yeah, burp right into the mic.
Excuse me.
And
I'm such a lady, guys.
Can you just turn up the mic?
There you go, like, yeah.
ASMR right now.
Yeah.
Cancel,
ASMR going.
cancel me because I burped. Ladies don't burp.
And fart.
I don't even have an asshole, guys.
Yeah.
Just out my pinky. Just on the corner.
Alien.
Yeah, like the movie. I forget what the movie that is.
Yeah.
Cancel culture. I think cancel culture is so stupid. I think it dehumanizes everybody involved, because as humans we thrive on mistakes. We are meant to challenge obstacles and overcome them. I keep coming back to this like metaphor, and I think I've said it in like another like on this interview I did a while back. But like I was skipping like during
jump rope, you mean?
Yeah, like
Okay.
during my workout, and I was like, oh my god, like life lends you a skipping rope, and you either choose to jump over it or you choose to stop skipping. And it's like the obstacles are the skipping rope, and you just like either it's an easy obstacle and you jump over it, or it hits you in the back of the heel and it hurts like a motherfucker, especially if it's depending on the rope, right? And I was like, that, but every time I jump over that rope and I do it successfully, I feel like an accomplishment. I feel good about myself, because and then you just keep skipping, right? So cancel culture literally is saying you're not allowed to have that rope hit you in the shins or hit you in the whatever and have it hurt you, because if it does, then everyone's going to judge you for it. But it's legitimately
Great analogy.
just a skip rope. So just jump over it, move on, learn from it.
Damn,
Right?
that's
That's a
good.
great analogy.
Thank you.
You came up with that yourself,
great.
or you heard that?
No, I came up with it while I was skipping.
Oh, while you were skipping.
Whoa.
Yeah,
really?
because I was like, this hurts like a bitch. I'm going to stop. And I was like, well, no, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep skipping. I told myself to skip for 10 minutes or whatever.
Right.
But that's the thing, is that so cancel culture says you're not allowed to jump, like you jump over that rope or you die. It's like, well, it's just a skip rope.
Have you had any
Yeah,
experiences of like people like trying to cancel you, like in some sense of like the word?
Kind of, sort of, like not to the extent that Neema has. Like I've read some of Neema's comments, especially when he's like imitating cultures and people are like all over it, like you're racist. I did have a situation, excuse me, where I'm singing in the car, I'm losing my voice, where I subbed in for a French speaker in a video like years ago. And I speak French, but I speak Ontarian French, so it's not like good French.
Right.
And the internet blew up. Like all the comments were like, you're a fucking poser, like you're this, you're that. And so then the video after was brought in to like compare French speakers as a joke, because it was like, oh, you know, the French people hate you. And so I was just making like sounds and like stuff like that to kind of like play
French
into it.
people.
Yeah, right? Like
Yeah.
to play into it. People were like calling me racist and calling me all this stuff. And,
Racist.
like,
Legit.
That's hilarious.
yeah, and it's like, okay, but I didn't say like,
fuck French people.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
and like
right.
it was all in kind of in jest at the fact that they came at me, and then I kind of was acting like back
Yeah.
at them. I think that's the only thing. But I also think that I don't know, I'm not like well known enough that people would go searching to find something. I'm sure if I were to blow up, then people
Yeah.
would be more actively trying to like hate
Naturally.
and cancel.
That's what happens when the bigger the audience you have, the bigger chance of people trying to cancel you.
Like,
Yeah.
have you yourself ever had the inclination to cancel somebody?
Not out of something that I feel no. Okay, hold on. Yes, but no. So like there is a specific person in my life that I wish that their mistakes were known, because they're awful.
Well, that's different.
No, I get it. It's very
you know,
honest of
like
actually.
yeah, like damaging, I would say. And I think it would do everyone some good to like be aware of that person, because they're a shit person and they hurt people.
Fair enough.
Mentally and physically. But no, not in like a, oh my God, you said something. And here's the thing too. It's like, okay, say you do something and it's shitty and the world knows about it. Come out after learning about it and talk about it and teach other people about it. When you cancel someone, you're saying, yeah, you're not giving a chance to people to learn. And like, I remember seeing this documentary about this guy who was like, he was like a racist and a bigot. And he was kind of like a part of this like KKK, neo KKK thing. And they just went around like hating on all cultures or whatever. And then something happened. I forget what happened exactly, but he turned his life around and he started talking about it and being like, this is what I used to do. I used to say these words. I used to like hurt these people. And I realized that I was brainwashed and these are the reasons why. And educated a whole bunch of people who were bigots and like made them better people. I'm like, that's why cancel culture is shit, because it doesn't allow that.
It's actually worse.
Yeah. And it like divides people. It makes people like so polarized. And so I hate it.
I had on a previous episode, I talked about just like an idea of like, it would be so interesting if like people who went to jail, as just like an extreme example, if they turn around and like, not they, but like the system was in place where they could turn around like maybe shorter into their sentence, or like at the time where they're not as dangerous or like a threat to the public. And like they sort of went the other direction of the spectrum and all of a sudden went from being, let's say, the person who created the problem or the hate or like the sort of like pain that's in the world, and then became like the advocate against it. Right. So like, and I think that's unbelievably powerful. And that's like, maybe I'm sure there's people all over the world doing like, I don't know, prison reform and like things that related to that. But like, just as a very loose idea of like sort of related to cancel culture, I'm like, how interesting would it be if that instead of that person being like bigoted, like to use your word, they turn around and we like, maybe not prop them up, but like allow them the opportunity, as you said earlier, to eat their mistakes in a sense. Yeah. And then just take it and be like, hey man, like, yeah, I fucked up just like everybody else. I'm a fuck up and flawed and average just like everybody else. Right. Which was amazing because like, you know, think about somebody coming out of jail. Like we can use a crazy violent example of a rapist, let's say. I don't know, like this is just pure theoretical. I'm not actually going to bat for this, but in the theory of it, it's like if that person then turns around and commits some portion or all of their life to advocating people not to do those things, it's like, how could it be more powerful? How could anybody else give a message that powerful versus the guy who like, or the person who did it? Yeah,
I think, and also people are willing to listen if they feel that they're understood by that. Like, okay, so say a rapist, which is like a very extreme example. Yeah. But if you're going on and you're preaching about like, don't rape, but you've never done the act, okay, don't rape. Because like,
I know what you mean.
But do you know what I mean? Like, for example, like you used to be a vegan, you're no longer a vegan. So talking to someone who's vegan and being like, these are the reasons why I decided not to, makes people more inclined to listen because you've been in their position, right? The rape is kind of a stretch of an example because it's like you don't need to rape to know not to rape people, okay? but I think you're right. Like, and my dad had this great saying. He was like, "What if when you're fighting for something, like whether it be like women's rights or whatever, the group that was opposed to it were the ones fighting for it? So like if men were fighting for women's rights." They have like nothing to gain from it, say. Like people who are fighting for something they have nothing to gain, it would make everything so much more united. Like as if a white person was fighting for black rights, it would unify because you're like, well, I have nothing to gain from fighting for this. And then people are like, oh yeah, right. But when it's the people, like, okay, when women tell men, you know, as a woman, you don't understand, la, 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 men are less likely to listen because they're like, well, as a woman, you have so much to gain from this. Whereas if a man goes, hey, dude, this, and this, and this, a guy's more willing to listen because they're like, well, like, you're not a woman, therefore, what are you gaining from this, right? I mean, like, I think everybody has something to gain from, like, equality and all that kind of stuff. But if someone who doesn't have anything to gain fights for it, it makes it so much more powerful.
I agree. True. And I also share that perspective. The confusing part of that action, which to me and you, and to likely you, makes a lot of sense, is the people who are like, we don't need you to fight for us. We can do it on our own. And that's the part where I get to, I'm like, and it's like, I'm not saying hands in the air, like, okay, now I'm giving up, but it's like, I don't know. Like to me, it made so much sense, right? To be like, let's use Me Too as an example. I agree. I really see both sides of like, okay, let's say I'm the one, just as an example, I'm the person standing at the front of the rally and speaking, and it has nothing really to do with me, but it also has everything to do with me, right? Versus the other, it's like, it's confusing, right? Because it's like, ultimately, isn't the goal to help rectify the situation? I'm not so concerned about who was the face of, or like, who even contributed. Like in some sense, like this is a us problem. Like I actually really appreciate that, like females and women are standing up and joining together, and like this is like, that's beautiful. It's amazing. It's just that you don't have to do it by yourself. Like we want to help, especially the ones especially because most of the people who have caused the Me Too movement to happen were men, but not all men, right? No. Like men like myself, my brother, it's like, as just two examples. Men. To me, it just seems so clearly obvious of like, I don't know, wouldn't you want to use like all the effort or interest or whatever is out there? But anyways, I don't want to get harped on that point. It's just
no, I agree with you. Like there's this weird balancing act of like, okay, then men jump on the Me Too thing, and then it's like mansplaining, and then so it's like, oh my God, how do you balance this, right? But in some cases, the more the merrier if you're fighting for the same fight, right? And so it's a very, very complicated, very delicate,
walking on eggshells
floor. Yeah.
Well, it's like people, they ask for help, but then when you help, then it's like, oh, we can do it on our own. Like you said, I'm like, but where's the line?
Well, exactly. I will say though, I think any kind of like victimization of self doesn't help a cause. So if it's like, oh, I'm a woman and I'm a victim and I'm this, like it makes you more of a victim if you're screaming that you're a victim. Right. So, it needs to be known, but it's saying like, I'm going to overcome this again, like just skip over the rope and educate people to skip over the rope.
Yeah.
Evie Pompouris. Do you know Evie Pompouris?
She's she used to be like an FBI body language thing, or like a intelligence officer or something.
And she will like guarded like a lot of the presidents and stuff like that,
right?
And she is such an amazingly strong woman. She's also Greek, by the way. Greek. But she's saying like, don't say like, because I am blank I can't blank. It's saying like, because I am blank I will overcome blank. And so that's like that. Anything. Yeah. Like you need to overcome. Don't say like we are lesser than. No, it's saying we have this struggle, we will overcome. And that's why I think the more the merrier, because if you are willing to overcome, you will take everything you can get. But if you want to remain the victim, you won't.
Did you come to these like perspectives like through like reading, life experience, or maybe your predisposition is just set that way?
No, I definitely I think life experience and like getting my head out of my ass as like a young woman. Like just as a young woman, I think playing into victim it's
counterintuitive.
Any chance you'll tell us an example or a story of
playing into victim?
Getting your head in your ass, maybe.
How you manage that? I remember like early on, just as I was exiting university, that was like when all of this like feminism bombardment started, which kind of gives me my age, but I already said my age, so it doesn't matter. And I remember having like very heated arguments around the table at my dinner table, like my parents' dinner table, just about like locker room chats and like, men. And then I went to the complete other side of the spectrum and I was like, I'm not going to talk about my Me Too because I'm better than that. And like, la, la, la. And so then kind of coming into the middle and being like, okay, both sides are worth hearing. I need to make my own decisions. I think honestly, it really comes down to you need to think for yourself and stop taking in all the bullshit that comes off social media and your friends and stuff. And that to me was like the hugest realization.
That's actually really interesting because virtually nobody I know comes to it like that. So
really,
how did you come to that? Because you seem very self-aware. So
some people would say otherwise, but thank you. I don't know. You just have like different life experiences, like being on both sides. Like at a certain points in my life, being on both sides. I think there's a little bit of a bonus to being indecisive and soaking up all the information that's around you, and then being like, wait a second, I literally said this, and then the next sentence I said this, and that contradicts itself. Am I literally just vomiting what people are telling me?
Yeah.
And that comes from people calling me out, though, being like, you're making no sense right now. Or like, and I think it comes down to having strong people in your life to be like, whoa, what do you believe? You're Me Too and not all men? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Right? Yeah.
Are your parents like strict, or like were they strict growing up?
In like what sense?
Like did you have curfews and stuff like that, or like did they always on your ass about like not going out or drinking and all that stuff?
Well, what you're looking at is a child who was born to please her parents. I was like the biggest goody two shoes.
We know that role very well.
Yeah.
Come across that role before. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it comes to like, I don't know about you guys, but there's like an immigrant mentality of being like good and and so were my parents strict? No, because they didn't have to be, because I like actively chose not to drink as a child. And
well, I mean, you're 7 probably, so you're like, not a good idea.
No, literally my parents, we would sit around the dinner table, or if we were invited for dinner at people's houses, they'd be like, can you please have a glass of wine? I was like, no.
And this is at what age?
Like 14, 15, 16, 17.
Oh,
18.
wow. That's pretty young.
Yeah, but it was like, you know, you're saying no. And then in my 20s, it got worse. It was like, okay, you're legal now. Like, can you please drink? And I'm like, no. Embarrassing.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah, but as a teenager, my first interaction with alcohol was watching a girl that I knew like double dragon at a party. So I cleaned it up. So
what do you mean
like
double drag?
Like double dragoning. It's like when stuff comes out both ends.
Oh no.
And so I cleaned it up and put her to bed, and I was like, wow, alcohol sucks, man. Like I'm never doing that to somebody else.
What the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, I also had surgery and was told not to drink because of my thyroid.
Right.
So it was kind of like, okay, health and not being stupid like seems pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
And so I was a goody two shoes.
Wow.
Well until recently.
So what changed?
Like, it's not fun being good all the time. I mean, it's not. It's just like, but like also being good to what? To whose expectation and standards?
For sure.
Right? Like,
you got to enjoy the things you actually want to do.
Yeah, and I need to tune in and be like, what am I feeling right now? Do I want to do what you're telling me to do? Probably not.
Did you take like these people pleasing tendencies and like
throw them out?
Well, yeah, it seems like that's for sure. But I'm saying, did you use them? Like, it almost prefaced other interactions you had with people who weren't named mom and dad, like throughout your life, I'm assuming?
Oh, yeah. Like my whole life. My dad said, as a young girl, I would walk into a room, I'd assess the situation and give them what they wanted. Like, to perfection. Also, I was raised, my father's mother, like an amazing woman, but she was brought up in this like WASP lady mentality. So like one of the first gifts she gave me as a young girl was like etiquette books.
Wait,
sorry,
what's WASP?
Yeah, what's WASP?
Oh, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
What does that mean?
Oh,
and what's the what's
I've
like
never
the,
heard that.
what's the thing
okay.
behind it? Like
so WASP is like your stereotypical white woman, Protestant values. So like Protestant guilt, which means you're a lady and you follow certain rules. It's like Queen of England type stuff, like
very proper
and precise.
Etiquette.
Yeah,
Okay,
and it's like I guess WASP is kind of an old term now that I think about it, but
well, you're all pretty old, so that makes sense.
I'm like so old. So I was brought up with this like etiquette, like you know which fork on which side of the
really
thing. Yeah, and
I didn't know that until I was like 17 maybe.
Okay, I was making beds and setting tables at the age of like 4 or 5.
Holy, really?
We weren't we weren't really. My dad would deny this, but it like you weren't allowed to speak unless you were spoken to at the dinner table. Not at my house, but at my grandparents' house.
What?
And we had to ask to be excused and stuff like that.
Wow.
And so these like my brother. This is why I love my brother, because he was put into that world and was like, fuck you guys, I'm doing whatever the fuck I want. I am authentically me in no matter situation. And I went into this world being like, I'm going to please you.
Yeah. It's literally like me and my brother.
Yeah, but just like, oh my God. Like I look at people like you guys and like people like my brother and I'm like, wow, your life is amazing, because you literally go into every situation just being like, I'm me and I'm great and it doesn't matter. And I'd go into situations and be like, how can I make you happy?
Wow, that's crazy.
Right. And then I started looking, and then like it got me into trouble. That's the thing.
I was
It's
going
like,
to ask you that. Yeah.
it gets you into like really bad relationships.
I
And
was literally going to ask you, like, I'm sure you learned a very hard breakup lesson somewhere or something happened somewhere.
God, like you would not believe, like just horrific.
Can we get Cole's notes? You don't have to give away obviously details, but takeaways maybe.
Avoid older men when you're a people pleaser.
Older men?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, like don't date someone who's 10 years older, 11 years, 12 years, 15 years older than you.
Wow.
Because if you're a people pleaser, you're going to try to please them.
Look, in a weird way, you almost replace that person with parent.
Yeah, 100%.
In a weird way, but
like in
I know
a
what you're
weird,
saying.
like Oedipal sense. Yeah, 100%. And then, if you're in university and you look up to your professors who have, the thing is, it's an authority thing. So you're trying to please people that you care about what they think, and you feel validation with that, right? And so like in university, like if a prof told me something that I didn't like, or like the criticism of my work or whatever, it would break me. Totally break me, right?
Even just one piece of feedback.
Yeah, like, oh, you're stupid. Like,
Implode.
Jeez. I'm a bad student. I'm a bad actor. I'm a bad this. I'm a bad that. Right. And so you do things to try and please these people. And like, listen, in relationships, if you're doing stuff to please your person so you're not like hurt emotionally or mentally, it's bad.
Very bad.
It's bad. You hurt people. You can hurt people around you. Like I lost friends because of this one relationship, because it was like, either please or lose a friend. And it was like, please,
right.
please,
Damn, that's the worst.
Yeah. So out of that, like, honestly, from 2018 onwards, I was kind of like anarchy.
Yeah.
I was like, anarchy. I'm just going to be me.
My independence.
Yeah. I'm going to like take on like my brother's persona and just.
He's older than you?
He's younger than me.
Oh, he's younger than you. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah.
It's literally like hearing the same exact stories from both of you. It's the exact same thing happening.
Because we're an Aquarian. Yeah.
Well, similar, like the reverse in a way. Like I was probably the person on the receiving end of wanting to be pleased, unknowingly, by the way. Like you don't even know what the fuck you're doing. That's why I wouldn't even call it a relationship. I would probably call it an attachment more than anything.
Yeah. Definitely. The love is questionable.
Yeah, like it's
situation.
I've played it so in my mind, like in my mind, like before, where I was like, if let's say I come face to face with this person one day, because I haven't seen her, but if like this person asked me like, were you in love with me? Because I'm assuming like that would come up or something like that. If you ask me as me today, I would say no, and not because I didn't have love for you and wasn't like, but in the moment, like during that relationship, I was 100% under the impression this is what love is, right?
Yes.
So I don't know where I was going with that, but I just wanted to say like I understand sort of the opposite of that from the receiving end, and so I was going to say like, people pleasing just seems to me like you're sort of like exerting efforts outwards, hoping that you're going to get the love that you want in return.
Yeah, you're trying to fill something.
Right, you're circumventing that. Well, you can just give it to yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
But also like it eats away at you, because you think if you please somebody else, then you'll please yourself, and therefore you'll be happy. Because it really does come down to like, am I happy right now? Am I happy? Am I in love? Am I, as good as I can be? Am I all these things? And so I think like a lot of people pleasing is like self-flagellation in a lot of ways.
Self what? What did you say?
Flagellation. Like you're like hitting yourself and hoping for a different result.
Do you do this too? You kind of do this. You're hard on yourself too, maybe in a different way.
Just on like mostly on my work.
Do you think like what you do is people pleasing? Like literally?
Well, yeah, that's literally the essence of the job.
That's your slogan.
Yeah.
Neema Naz, people pleaser.
Yeah.
People pleaser, non-toxic.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is, but that's not the reason why I do it. If it's the reason why you're doing it, then yeah, it's the wrong way to do it. But it's people pleasing just by association of what I do.
But do you like think of skits that will make your fans happy, or do you just do what you want? Because I think that's
a little
the
bit of
difference.
both.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not catering to anybody, but like you still have to listen to your audience, right? You still have to listen to what people like and what people don't like. But at the end of the day, ultimately, you still have to do what you want to do, right? You still have to be happy doing what the fuck which idea that you like, and then having the consideration of also what other people generally do vibe with, and kind of like mixing them together.
You're very good at that.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, it takes time. It took me fucking like 6 years of doing content to realize this finally. And then, now it's easier for me to make those decisions. It's mostly based off what I want though. At the end of
Like
the
in
day.
what makes you happy.
Overall. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
How did you guys meet?
Oh man.
I don't even remember.
We met on a couch.
All right. On a couch. Casting couch. No, I'm kidding.
Funny because I originally thought back alleyway or something, but
Yeah, actually.
That's a good one too.
I actually tried to steal his wallet. It didn't work.
damn, I'm trying to shiv my man, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, a couch on the set of Dating Beyond Borders.
Which is
Like-
YouTube channel.
3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Yeah, 3-4 years ago.
4 years ago. I think the first thing I said to Neema, well, other than hi, was, "Oh, you are so handsome."
Yeah. I
Something
remember,
you've never heard before?
I was telling him before too, because I told him that like when after you guys met, I told like maybe a couple stories about you and like how we roughly met too. And I told him like, yo, the one thing I remember from you, like vividly, and I'll never forget, is that you called me handsome. And I'm like, it's such a simple thing as a guy when you hear a fucking compliment like that, because like usually guys don't get love. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you're a fucking model, usually like with a fucking 6-pack or Abercrombie model.
I guess.
Right? Like my whole life, like the best compliment I've gotten was like, "Oh, your eyebrows are fucking on fleek," which is kind of true. But
I mean, they are.
yeah, thank you.
They
yeah.
are, yeah.
But like, you know what I mean? Like generally though, like no one's like because girls get compliments every day, like
Yeah, we get a lot.
excessively too sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So you guys are used to it. But like as a guy, it's like you're not walking down the street and some girls is like, "Oh wow, you're hot," or like, "Damn, like you're beautiful," or "You're handsome," or you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I do that. I've done that. It doesn't work well.
no, that's what I'm
It
saying.
gets
right?
you in
It's-
trouble.
Yeah. it's so like out of the realm of what actually goes on. It's
Yeah.
almost like it's like, what's your motive here? You know what I'm saying?
Is that
Like,
what you were thinking?
no, not with you. I'm just saying like in general, like if someone were to tell like
Your wallet.
yeah, legit. Like if a girl literally right now to this day, if I walk outside and a girl comes up to me, fairly good looking, and goes, "Hey, like you're kind of hot," like I would not believe that because I've never been shown that my entire life. Like especially a random like that, it's like
Yeah, I
so
guess.
out of your realm, you don't even think it's real.
We were working, so I felt
No, I
like there
know.
was a no. I know.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like, yeah, I understand what you're
Yeah.
saying though.
But
Yeah.
that's why when you said it to me, like
It stands out.
It stands out a lot, yeah. And that's why it's like I've like it's like you're a special little place in my brain because I was like, oh wow.
But this is like every guy has this, right? Like this is the thing that
Yeah.
I would like to express is like I'm not saying this like a pity party standpoint. It's just like a reality of
no,
like,
it's a pity
just how
party.
it's-
It's a pity party.
Well, for me, it's not. But like, if you ask guys, like, hey, like, I don't know how many, like, can you, like, you could easily count on your hands how many times somebody has given you a compliment, even if it was just like a marginally neutral one.
Legit.
Guys would be like, oh yeah, I remember this one time, and it's like, it's like, like guys make fun of girls, like, yo, you won't remember anything, but you remember what I said 7 years. Like, it's that idea of like, the guy will be like, oh, I don't know, somebody told me I was just smelled nice, let's say.
Yeah.
Something
Legit.
like average, even like a neutral thing, and like
Yeah.
it's like a cherished moment.
That
I think
makes
about
me
that for
so
weeks and months.
sad for you guys, because like
The other, I want to add to the other hard part is that males can't say it to each other, so you can't even get it from your friends in a way, right? Because like
Right.
you'll and like this isn't the situation anymore for me, or for like not for all men, and certainly not for all men, but it'll quickly turn into, oh, that's gay. You see what I'm saying, though? And I know you're rolling your eyes, but it's like it's a real thing, right?
yeah, no,
Like,
that's a
yeah,
totally
like-
real thing. You're right.
Yo, what are you gay? Like, oh man.
Or like no homo.
Yeah, bro, no homo.
Yeah.
Man, you're fag. I was like, what are you talking about?
I remember one of the most like well received or commented things that I'd posted a while ago was on male friendship, and like telling your male friends like that you love them or you care for them, like something in the realm of like, hey, I have a piece of you in my heart or my brain or whatever, and it's like you can almost sense like the deprivation in a way, right? And so I don't know about you, but I try to go out of my way, at least if not minimum, for birthdays and special events or whatever, like, hey man, I was just thinking about you today and I just think you're really great, like whatever, something not that, but something like that. And it's
Goes a long
amazing.
way.
Like I'll get like a call and be like, man, like you had no idea how much I just like needed a friend, like, and maybe they didn't actually need one, but the scarcity of like people reaching out and being friendly or like so warm-hearted in a sense, like is increasingly appearing to be more rare in a way.
Yeah.
That's not just a male thing. Maybe it's just a people thing, but
Yeah.
the male thing, like it's like I can admit it was uncomfortable. It still is actually uncomfortable to some degree to like look at a person and be like, man, like I can't even say like even right now, man, I love you. I can. I'm joking, but like to be able to look into someone and like tell them, hey, man, like I really appreciate our friendship or your brotherhood or whatever. It's uncommon. It's hard. It's not that you don't want to do it. You want to say it. I want to say it. You just haven't seen it modeled before.
Mm-hmm.
That's
true.
so interesting.
And that's why after 114 episodes of saying the name Gary V, we will bring him up again.
We legit mention him every time.
I don't know if you know who that is, but like he's like a running thing. Fucking right, you know who he is. Make TikTok? Yeah. So to bring him up is to say he modeled that behavior for me. And that's where a lot of this started. Like I can confidently tell you I would not be sitting here right now in front of a podcast with my face and my sound and my voice on the screen had it not been for somebody like him who I could begin to look at and be like, oh, he's redefining what alpha male means. And more importantly, what it looks like.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness, yeah. And I'll wrap it up by saying I had a viewer on the show who commented a while ago saying, because I talked about one of Gary Vee's most interesting videos that he put out like months and months, maybe it was like a couple years ago now, where he filmed like a continuous like 6-hour vlog of him in Dubai. And I watched it. And the reason I watched it was because I wanted to see how do you interact in the nuanced moments like throughout the world, like opening doors, greeting people, sitting in a car, like are you attentive to when people are speaking and are you on your phone, or like just like little things that you might not be able to get like or ask somebody to like model for you. But watching that and realizing like, wow, this guy is like really, he is who he is preaching he is. And you know, it's one thing to listen to a podcast or watch a keynote or like look at his Instagram profile and it's like obviously very polished and he's very popular. It's like, you know, it's in some sense it's hard to relate to that. And I understand like you know, when you get too big, it's like when people claim, you know, it's hard to relate to you. It's like, well, you make 100 million. Like we're not in the same, right? But he keeps that, keeps it 100, so to speak. Like it's very authentic and
humble.
Yeah, and I really appreciate his entire existence, really. But the fact that he's so comfortable telling people that aren't his wife or aren't people, you know, like I really appreciate you, or I love you, man, or D-Rock, or like the people that he works with. It's like seeing and feeling that it was and continues to be very important for me, at least.
I think it's very important.
You finally had someone to show you what that looks like.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, it was huge.
Well, and that's why I think it's important that more people do that now, like more guys. And I believe in that too, obviously. So that's like, I try to do that as well. And, you know, even like a couple days ago when I came up to you, remember, I literally went up to him in the kitchen and I was like, yo, man, I just randomly felt this like feeling of gratitude. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go up to him and tell him that. And I literally went up to him. I was like, it was hard for me, bro. I was like, I don't know. Fuck, man, I got to do this.
See what I mean?
But yeah.
But I went up. I was like, yeah, man. Honestly, I just want to say, like, I appreciate everything you do, and I'm super grateful for that. And I just like hugged them and like.
Then how did you accept that?
Hug back.
Yeah.
I actually asked. I was like, what did I do to deserve this? Right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Again, like half tongue in cheek, but like, there's a part of you that's like kind of wondering. It's like, well, what did I do to deserve this? And again, I'm not saying to feel bad about me or pity me. It's but understand like where some, perhaps most males or men are coming from. Of like, it's. I'm not saying it's like you're not like suspicious of like why it's happening, but you're kind of curious. Like, you almost want to know. You want to hear like, why do you like me? That's kind of like the general. What is it about
me that you like?
Yeah, like you're not literally asking that, but you in a sense want to know. Like, well, what is it about me that you enjoy? Like, or I don't know. Why me? You know, like, which I think is a human thing. Like, I don't think it's an exclusively male thing, but
you just never been modeled that,
right?
So like someone unconditionally coming up to me or him or anyone, like literally speaking out about how they feel about you. So we never got that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's mostly a guy thing for sure. Because I know all my friends, same shit, like with their parents or with their friends. Like we didn't even say I love you to each other until like the past year maybe. Like, and we've only said it like a couple times too.
Really?
But even then, it's like so. You know what I mean? It's still so new at such an age too, right? Like we're so much older now, and like it's crazy to think there's so many people like this.
Yeah,
but
that's.
I feel like women are way more comfortable doing that with each other. It's like, oh, I love you, bitch. Love you, babe. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like guys would never do that.
On the opposite side of things, though, I think that we say it so, like, women say it so fluffily, like they don't actually genuinely mean it because it's so like, I love you, I love you, I love you.
So, yeah.
You're so pretty, la, la, la. And it's just like you're looking
fake.
for like a genuine compliment. I mean, and then like as a pretty girl, you get you're so pretty all the time that you're like, okay, so but that doesn't define who I am. I'm not pretty as a I could be like a horrible person. I mean, you thought I was going to be a horrible person when you saw me first time.
Yeah.
So like, that doesn't mean anything to be pretty.
That's true.
So like, yeah, I think there's just a different side of that. But I will agree with you that like my guy friends, like I would tell them that I love them. I have this one specific friend. I'm like, I love you. And he couldn't for years say it back.
I know. I get it.
And I just kept pushing. Like I was just like, I love you. And like, I was like, I don't care if you don't say it back. Like I want you to know if I die and you never knew how I felt about you, I would feel awful as a ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's super important that people say. I think it's also super important that girls go out of their way and compliment men. The problem 100%. is that because you guys don't get complimented very often, automatically you're like, can I put my dick in you?
That's the other
right.
Part.
And so that's why we don't do it.
That's so true. That's a big part. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like, interesting because I have the I don't know if it's a reverse logic, but I also don't come and tell women the same thing
because you're worried they're going to be like, you pervert.
That's half of it. The other half of it is like, I don't know. You probably heard this 10 times just before I got here. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's almost like it's going to fall flat anyways.
Right.
And there's another topic that's not. It's really it's slightly related to this, but like one other thing is, you didn't. I'm not saying you, but like you didn't earn your looks. Like, as in, you didn't do anything to look this way. I'm not saying
showered, but that's about it.
Of course. Like you're hygienic.
You shower? The fuck?
I know. What is it? Monday? Yeah. So from that standpoint, it's like this would be the same as me having my ego wrapped around my height.
Right.
Well, I didn't do anything to earn it. Right. Like it just happened. And so the pretty thing. I mean, it's hard, right? Like natural beauty. Everybody's beautiful. Eye of the beholder. Like there's all these things that exist. It's just, I don't know. Maybe just my personal life experience like hasn't lended itself well to thinking like going and giving those compliments like is really going to do anything except for, oh, you're a creep, or oh, here we go, this guy just wants to do that. And it's like, I don't know, maybe there's something deeper here. I'm certain that there is, as there always is, but it's not, I don't know. I'm sort of at that point where it's like you're almost like at indecision because you don't know. You're not even sure what to do. Like, what do I say? How should I say it? Like, will it matter? Like we talked about DMs a lot with other females I've been on the show because I'm like, and I've said this openly, I'm like, my impression, just use you as an example. If I had come across you or we had come across your page, it's like, I'm not even going to bother. Like literally though, because I'm like, it's just going to be like he's at this point now with like the following of like the amount of messages is you can't keep up with it. It's like you just keep scrolling and it's unread. That's literally what I think is happening in female inboxes.
Well, just by being on your story, I had like 15 messages.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, unread messages. Like some of them made me laugh, and I sent them to you. Yeah. But yeah, it honestly slipping into DMs is pointless. Well, I would agree.
Yeah.
But I will say when it comes to indecision about complimenting women, I think it comes down to like finding something about that person in specific. It's so unique. Has anyone ever told you how beautiful your eyes are?
No.
Okay, well, you have beautiful eyes. Okay. And like looking at your eyes while talking to you, I'm like, wow, like he's got really beautiful eyes. Like you have like an authenticity behind your eyes, as opposed to me saying like, oh, you're hot.
Yeah, I get it.
And I think so if someone says to you like, oh, wow, today you were like, oh, I love your fit, which I didn't know what it meant. But then but the fact that like your compliment, you know me. So you're like saying, oh, like I like the outfit you put together today is more personal than being like, you look hot today.
Actually, I follow this. I don't know how I found her, but I think it was just Explore on Reels or whatever. But it's like she's a dating coach.
Okay.
And like I see some of her posts once in a while. And I think it's interesting that you said what you said because she, her recommendation at least is like speak to somebody's vibe, and like loosely, like and you can determine what that means for yourself. But speak to their energy, speak to their style, something that isn't like as you're probably alluding towards is like very it's like, what do I do with that after? If you just tell me, well, you look hot, it's like, I don't know. There's maybe 2 responses. Thank you. And you too. Or I don't know. Like, you want to fuck me? Yeah, you too.
Fuck off, Reed. Yeah.
Well, it's also, I kind of agree with the compliment thing too. Like because I actually have done this a lot, and I've talked about this before where like, there was an era of my life where I would watch a lot of YouTube videos of pickup artists.
Oh God,
and it
which
was terrible.
ones?
No, not like the bad ones. Yeah, because
Okay.
I can distinguish between the douchey ones and like the people who are actually just wanting to communicate better with women. So there's a difference between just being a dick and trying to pick up girls. But I actually went out and started doing that. That's how I actually got the confidence to do stand up and everything else. It actually helped each other. Yeah, in that sense, it actually helped me a lot with my confidence because I put myself into a zone that I was not comfortable with, obviously, and I would actually approach like women on the street, but like not in like a weird way of like fucking head on, like stop.
You.
Where are you going? Where are you going?
Where
Can't get around me. Can't get around me.
So I would actually like, cause like there's specific like things that these guys would talk about. Like if you want to approach someone, and just in general, like it's in a non-threatening way, you would come up from the side. Like it's like the most non-threatening way. Not like
Here I am.
Not like that, but like you kind of like you go around and you walk like with them kind of, and then like you kind of like look over from a distance, and then you'd be like, hey, excuse me, like, hey, I just noticed that you look very pretty today. Like I just wanted to tell you that. And like for the most part, I always had success doing that.
Because your intention was simply to say something to them. Your intention wasn't to like get in their pants.
No, yeah.
And also,
later maybe, but like, initially, it
like
helps.
your authentic intention matters in that situation.
And they can sense it, man. Women can fucking sense
Are you
it
kidding?
immediately.
That's what we are on radar all
I know.
the time.
That's what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
so that's why, in a way, I'm not as indecisive as he's talking about, because I feel like there's gonna be someone out there who like you'll just like put yourself out there for, and like it'll work.
Yeah, my brother said, he's like, just get used to rejection and everything works out.
That's exactly how. That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah,
that's exactly how I feel every time. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like so used to it. I'm like, one day it'll work. I don't know, maybe, but
Yeah, I think so. I also think like if you walk away, if you say something and you walk away and they don't chase after you, then okay, that's it.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fine.
we like the game, and like I hate saying that because like
So fucked. Yeah.
but we do. Like I think I used to believe like, oh, I don't want to play the game, blah blah blah, and then you don't play the game, and then you end up in some awful situation or you meet terrible people, right? But if you play the game in like a way of, okay, you're interviewing this person, or you're curious about that person with no malintent, like nobody should go into an interaction being like, I'm gonna date this person. They should be like, I want to get to know this person.
That's a good point.
You know, if you go in wanting to get your dick wet, like we can smell that a mile away. And I think everybody can. You know when someone's being inauthentic. Like I'm willing to bet there are so many women after you because of your content, and you're like, this is inauthentic. You just want me for my followers.
Yeah, definitely.
You can smell that.
100%.
You can smell that through DMs. You can smell that through anything, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I can even smell it like when I get a DM and it's like, hey, some kind of weird question or sentence to get a reaction so that they get an in so they can talk to me. I'm like, I know what that is.
Wow,
I'm not
that's
an
crazy.
Idiot.
Right.
Right? Like you get my name wrong, or like, oh, you want to pay me to do something. I'm like, oh, okay. You offend me so that I respond.
Oh, the worst.
Right. But
What
it's
is that called? Negging or something?
Yeah,
I just
negging.
recently
it's called
heard that.
negging, and that's why I reacted to the like pickup artist thing.
Yeah,
because
I know.
for a while there was this like book going around is like, these are the things you do.
Yeah, the game.
Like the game. Is
Yeah.
it called the game?
Yeah, I actually had it.
Yeah, right. And I mean, I think I'd be interested to read it.
It's actually pretty good. It's not
Is
like
it?
it's not
Yeah.
as bad as you people think. Like, it's actually really helpful for just communication in general.
See, like communication and authenticity should be the core of human interaction, and that's it.
Yeah.
Realistically, and the negging thing.
And negging it's more very pick-up-y, yeah.
Okay, but it's so weird though, because it's like, do you not think that we don't know?
But they really think that you don't know.
Yeah.
I'm being honest with you.
Yes, I know, because I said, are you negging me right now? And I remember the guy, eyes popped out of his head. He's like, you know what that is? I'm like, I wasn't born yesterday.
What do you think's going on here?
But you know what's
Google
funny?
exists, pal.
But you know what's funny though? Like I've heard from other people, like some girls still will fall for that though.
Yeah, it's a bad boy complex thing.
Yeah, they still they're attracted to that,
Of course.
which is kind of
Because,
weird. But
but it's like upbringing. It's like, were you put down as a child? That's what you think love is. It's
Yeah,
super.
exactly.
Makes a lot of sense.
It's like, what's that? It's relatable to your thing.
Yeah.
So you think love is being put down or being called bad things.
Yeah. That's why it's like people, the whole conversation of like, I just want a nice guy or a good guy, but then like they always fall for the douchebags.
Yeah, because
I'm like,
they
the
want to
thing
be
is-
able to prove themselves.
Nice guys also have a manipulative complex too.
yeah, it's different. Yeah.
Right, like I'm sure you could go on Medium right now and read articles on why nice guys do actually finish last or whatever the thing is. There's not like it's not a hard and fast rule, but there are like some, when you think of like the, it's like neediness is a word that comes to mind. Not maybe desperation. I was gonna say was the next one.
Manipulation's good.
And you just like I said it on a podcast. We were guests on a podcast, and I said, somebody said, "What's the difference between kind and nice?" I was like, "Kind is something you do with your heart. Nice something you do with your head." I just came up with it on the spot, and I don't know if it stands true, but it feels accurate enough to say, I can remember the times when I was trying to be nice. I don't think you try necessarily with your heart so much as you do with your brain, right? And so it's all. I can tell you from my own experience, like there's you're trying to get to an end game.
Yeah, your intentions are wrong, like or like
skewed.
Skewed.
Yeah, totally skewed.
Yeah, you're not being yourself.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
It's
But
very
let me
easy to smell.
ask you something. If you went up to someone, they were talking about you, and you go up to one of the people, and they say, "And what did they say about me?" And the person says, "Oh, they said you were really nice, or they said you were really kind." Do either of those really mean that much? Like kind and nice, I feel like are filler words.
For
Nothing.
just like an empty compliment, you mean? Just like an empty.
Yeah, they're so nice. They're so kind.
Never
I don't
thought
Oh,
of
you
that
have a
either
really
for you.
kind. You have a really kind face. What the fuck does that mean?
I've gotten that before.
You have a kind
Like
face.
kind eyes.
Kind eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, kind eyes, I kind of understand, but like even still, like
But
kind
yeah.
is what?
I don't know what
Yeah.
that means. Yeah.
I don't know either.
Like if you say something, oh wow, like they said, honestly, I'd rather hear wow, she's an asshole versus she's so nice. So what? She can be like walked all over, and she doesn't have boundaries, and she doesn't really make an impression other than nice.
That's a good point.
When you look at it like that point, yeah, that's a good point.
It's definitely more descriptive, just descriptive
There's
things
so
you could
many
say.
words in the English language, and you chose nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything is nice.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
so nice.
Actually, I want to bring up something that we talked about before about like how, because you said you get in trouble by your people pleasing. And you're talking about like your guy friends and like how you have many guy friends and how that's gotten you into trouble with like with their girlfriends and stuff like that. Do you want to like elaborate on like why that happens, or even like
Yeah.
how you feel about it?
How I feel about it.
Yeah.
Do you want to like? I don't even know where to start.
Because you were telling me how like a couple times it's happened now.
Yeah.
Where you're friends with a guy and then their girlfriend doesn't like you because they think that you're like a threat.
Yeah. So like, so telling people, like telling my guy friends that I love them, or telling, or saying like you look so good today, or like being like energetic towards them, gets me into trouble with their partners if their partners are toxic. Like I have a guy friend who, he's become essentially part of my family, and his girlfriend is amazing, and she just like took me in and I took her in, and it was great. But then there's the occasional situation where they feel threatened by me because I'm just showing love. And I think I've had time to think about that since even we spoke. Therapy is such a great thing.
Everyone should do it.
Everyone should do it. Oh my God, people who don't believe in it, I have a whole thing I could go on. But like, they believe my intentions are not what they are. And then that part of that is on me. Like, I need to make my intentions more clear with them, but also showing people that you love them shouldn't be shouldn't be skewed as malintent. And then, I think the people who get threatened by that and who are threatened by me, they believe that love is just meant for one person, and that person is supposed to complete you entirely. Like it's a way of thinking. And so why I say I had time to think about it is because when you lose a friend, when someone tells you we can't be friends anymore because my girlfriend said so, or my boyfriend said so, it's on the girlfriend and the boyfriend, but it's also on the person doing it, because it means that they also believe that way of loving is the only way to love, and that they're doing something wrong by reciprocating the love. Like love is just love. Yeah, it can be romantic. Yeah, it can be platonic. Yeah, it can be, but like loving someone, caring about someone does not come with any baggage. Like you put the baggage on there, you know, like you think that I want to fuck your boyfriend. I might really not want to fuck your boyfriend
at all.
I might just think that they were an amazing person and they deserve to be loved to the fullest.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, you can tell me to not talk about your relationship or not. Like, can I go in?
My relationship?
Yeah. Like,
oh yeah, I don't care. Yeah.
I saw Neema on his birthday or the day after his birthday last year, and I gave him a birthday card. And he had a girlfriend. He had a new girlfriend at the time. And I thought twice. I was like, do I give Neema this card? Because I don't want to be told that I can't be friends with him. Like, this is just a thought because it's happened to me so many times.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then you said, wow, my girlfriend didn't even get me a card. And I was like, fuck, like, here we go. Right? Like, I'm showing him that I care about him. And now this is going to be misconstrued. Just because I think he's incredible. I think I wrote in your card, like, I think you're one of the most amazing people I've ever met and stuff like that, right?
That was very nice. It was super nice.
I'm glad you liked it. But like, so that can be misconstrued. But I just think Neema's amazing. You know, like there's so many things that I could list off that I love about Neema. Does that mean that I like want to go in the back and fuck him? No, it
just
doesn't.
Raw dog. That's
well,
it.
You know,
Behind the
but like,
dumpsters,
okay, let's not get into it. But you know what I mean? Like, so that's misconstrued. Just because I say I think you're amazing, why does me thinking that he's amazing threaten a relationship? Or like, why?
It just screams of insecurity to me. Not on your part, obviously. But
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
most of the
Yeah, and I remember you were like, total tangent, but you were like, when I was intimidated by you.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you were intimidated by me. I'm not intimidating.
Exactly.
Nice.
It's not on you. It's on the person. Exactly.
Right?
It's actually something him and I talk about a lot, which is like your feelings are your responsibility.
1000%.
So
yeah.
You can point fingers all you want, and this is how you made me feel, and this is what. And it's like, of course, obviously, in you know, courtesy, and like, you know, we're friendly and family. Like, of course, I'll have a conversation and I'll try to eloquently walk you to why it wasn't me, in fact, who put on that action, more so than you interpreting it that way. But I agree. It's I don't know. It's sad in a way, right? Because I can speak to having female friends. I can do the reverse of what you're saying. And I will say, and I've said it before, the female friendships that I've had the opportunity of like cultivating and like nourishing these last few years, I would say are among the most rewarding experiences I've had, honestly. And it's not just because of the female part. This is friendships altogether. Like I have a whole friendship theme of like trying to figure out how, like, I actually remember asking myself, like, how do I become a good or better friend? What does it mean to be a good friend? But anyways, the having female friends is, and I don't have a partner now to fully parallel the example you gave, but I can't imagine there even being a scenario where like in the selection process of like what partner you would be with, that there would be a scenario where it's like, I'm going to now depart from these friendships. It's like there's way like, and maybe, and I couldn't even maybe put words to it before or like come to the idea, like, why is this happening? But just my own Aquarian nature, let's call it, is just so repelling of anybody who's trying to tell me what and what I cannot do, which you already alluded to. But the friendship thing, it's like, you actually said something deeply profound, that you know, love is not meant to be like, you're not meant to be completed by any one person.
No.
At all. And the idea that you're going to go into a relationship of any kind, right, and think that they're going to satisfy, like, you know, this is where I think a lot of people make mistakes, right, on like their romantic relationships, where it's like, you know, we're dating, whoever it is I'm dating, and like they're going to be responsible for everything. They're my workout partner, they're my eating buddy, they sleep with me, they hang, they laugh, like it's like all the things you think they're going to do. I just think that's wrong. I don't know. It's
not feasible.
It's just not feasible. Yeah.
It's not feasible. I always say this, but like, if I'm dating someone and they hate, this is one I always go back to because I freaking love karaoke. If they hate karaoke, that is not something that like dissuades me from dating them. I just have my friends to go karaoke singing with, and they don't have to come.
It's really that simple.
Damn, that's pretty,
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
true. You know, obviously you need to align, like, I think, you know, morally and with values and stuff like that, obviously. In terms of like activities.
Yeah, you can't have everything the same interest, right?
Like, how boring would that be? You're just dating a clone of yourself?
I know.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like, I agree on everything.
Yeah.
Yay, Stepford wife.
So when do you want to break up?
Yeah.
Because you might as well plan the date.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's, yeah.
I want you to be in my body.
Well, I mean, that could be like sex talk if you
Yeah,
really
that's
want.
true.
Yeah.
I want to be one with you.
I want your skin on me.
Dating app experiences?
Yeah.
Can you tell us about it? This is a topic that's hot for us right now. So we're very curious.
Dating apps.
Well, first of all, you've been in a relationship for how many years? 3 years?
Over 3.
Over 3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And obviously you were on dating apps like before that whole time. Like,
I met him on a dating app.
oh, you met him on a dating app.
Which one?
Which one?
Tinder.
Tinder.
Oh, shit.
I
Tindy.
keep hearing that actually. So
It's
over time,
no
my
expectations. It's the no expectations.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did he slide in first or you did?
I don't remember. I remember as my father put it, I was interviewing on dating apps.
Oh,
I
nice.
was like, I got a lineup of people coming to meet me and we'll see who makes the second interview. Like it was very much
Wow,
like that.
that's funny.
Yeah, I just got out of a very messy situation and I was like, I'm never dating again. So I might as well just like meet people. Cause at that point, the relationship had completely ruined all my friendships. I had no friends. The friends that I did have were moving away. Like I had nobody. So I was like, I better meet people.
Wow.
And what better way to meet people than pretending to want to date them? Like not actually, but like,
I get it.
you know. So, wait, you said something and I was going to answer it.
I don't remember.
Okay.
Just like on who slid in first?
Right. I remember sitting on his profile for like an hour, not like actively like an hour, but being like,
Dissecting
and then
it.
putting it down and then picking it back up and being like, do I swipe right? Nah. and then I remember closing the app and being like, well, if his profile is still there, then I'll swipe right. Cause I was so unsure. Cause he had like douche vibes, but he also had these like incredibly like real, like, I don't know, like there's something behind his eyes that were just so real and so like genuine energy in the photos. And I was like, I can't figure this out. And so then I opened the app and then he was still there. So I swiped right.
Oh, nice.
And then we talked for 2 weeks, just chatting. And then he was like, hey, we've been chatting for a while. Would you like to meet up? And I was like, yeah, I'm surprised you haven't asked already. Like, you know.
Yeah.
And at first I wasn't even like, I had no expectations. That's what it was. I was just went in being like, I'm going to meet this person. My profile said, let's meet for coffee and see what happens. Like it was very like open-ended. And then I was pleasantly surprised.
It was just a good vibe. You hit it off.
We just got along. And I just wanted to keep hanging out with him. And then he was like, I really like you. And I was like, oh, I don't want a relationship. Like what? And he was like, oh.
Why are you on Tinder?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like,
I got a dating app. Yeah.
what do you want? And then I was like, well, you know, blah, blah, blah. Here's my history. Like, I don't know. And he was like, well, we'll figure it out. We'll just figure it out. And I was like, let me get back to you.
In 3 to 5 business days.
And then I was like, listen, like, let's just keep doing this, what we're doing. Like, it wasn't anything crazy. Like we were just hanging out like once. I was very busy at the time. So we were hanging out like once or twice a week for like an hour or two. Like it was very, you know.
Really quick.
Yeah, it was quick because we had shit to do. Like he was working like so much and I was doing stand up and acting at the same time. And I was trying to manage a side job. Like I was just crazy. So we just would meet up when we could. Like I'd drop by his neighborhood for an hour and then that would be it. And we just kept doing that. And then like 2 months after he was like, hey, would you like to date? I got him some tickets to the Maple Leafs because I know he loved the Maple Leafs. And I was like, okay, we can date officially now. And he's like, wow, this is incredible. And I was like,
that's pretty nice.
Make it memorable, I guess.
Damn.
What was the leading up to that swipe that ended the app? What was your inbox like on Tinder?
It was insane.
Right.
But also
Just slammed.
10 out of 10 times I've had that answer, by the way.
Yeah.
but it's
Legit.
funny though because not only was it insane, but I was very selective and it was insane.
Jesus Christ. How many people were in your DMs?
It's got to be hundreds.
I don't know, but here's the thing though.
Sure.
Yeah, like there was a lot.
Hundreds?
Yeah.
Like matches, you mean?
Yeah, well that's the only way they get into your inbox as far as I remember.
that's
Well, it's people that swiped right on you, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
match,
And
right?
you match, yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But
Damn.
here's the thing though. Yeah, you have 100 matches, but most of them are like, hey, what's up? Good, you? That's it.
Right. It sucks.
I'm like so not interested with, hey, what's up, good you? I'm like, fuck that conversation. I'm not interested. If you don't have anything interesting to say to me, why are we chatting? Like, don't waste my time.
What would they say to you? That's interesting though. Like,
hey, I noticed in your profile you have like a spider. You're dressed up like Spider Woman. That's pretty cool. Tell me about it. Cool. Response. Or because I'm not afraid of going. Like, I know a lot of women are afraid of contacting first. I really don't fear that. I don't fear going up to a guy and being like, "You look really good. Would you like my number?" Like, that's never been an issue for me. Like,
I wish there was more girls like you.
I think there's this like fear of the stranger danger thing, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so like going up to somebody, you're like, I might pick the serial killer or something. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I might pick the serial killer out of the group.
Like you.
What?
You?
Like you, yeah. Out October 15th. There you go.
Yeah.
There's your sponsor, Dad. Yeah, so I never had an issue with that. But I think a lot of women do. So
Yeah.
So, you know, like generally the guy reaches out first, unless it's Bumble, which I think Bumble is the dumbest.
Why?
Because, okay, here's the thing. So I'm bi, right? Like I'm bisexual. So at the time I was also like looking at women's profiles, and being a woman, having to reach out to a woman on a profile and then also not getting a response back. It's just like, this is the stupidest app in the world. Honestly, I can honestly tell you that there's a stereotype about women when dating is that they have nothing to say and they don't know how to continue conversation.
Oh.
That is a stereotype I keep hearing.
Yeah, that's fucking facts.
From my guy friends. Okay.
Yeah.
That they don't know how to continue conversation because they expect the man to carry the conversation. It's like, no, be responsible for the conversation that you bring into the room. If you're confident in yourself, then you know what you like to talk about and see if that syncs up. If you literally say, hey, what's up? Good. You, hey, you want to like fuck later? Yeah, cool. Are you going to get to know that person at all? No. So have something interesting to say, or like people who took the time to like, I read everybody's profile that I swiped right on. That aimless swiping, that's inhumane in my opinion. Get to know the person that you're swiping right on.
I didn't have a choice at the time because no one was matching with me. So I was like, fuck it.
Okay, but like, so you match with like Brittany McSmith, okay? And she is empty-headed as fuck, but she matched with you.
Yeah.
That's worth it to you?
No.
So then?
But like,
be picky.
No, I was at a certain point, but then there's a certain point where I was like, okay, no one's matching, fuck this, and then still wouldn't get matches. So I'm just playing games on my phone. I'm just swiping.
And they're like, you've swiped too much.
Yeah, legit.
I actually think there's a part of this that guys don't tune into it well enough, which is like the quality of your profile like actually matters. Like the photos 100%. You take actually matter.
Yeah.
Stop posting with fish and dogs and do something that actually you may or
no mirror selfies.
Dogs.
No
car selfies.
You don't have to get headshots, right? Like we have to let's put it in perspective. Right?
Acting headshots.
Honestly, yeah. No, definitely. Unless you're literally like an Abercrombie model, like that's also going to be the answer to what do you do?
Right.
Sure, man. Sense. One of the 5 photos you put up is a brushed air model, whatever fucking thing. That's a 1 out of a million people that could do that, right?
What other pictures could you post?
I would argue don't put any photo that shows what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't put any photo that shows what you do.
If you're an Abercrombie model, don't put an Abercrombie model photo.
Yeah. Same with
if you're a fighter, yeah, don't do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'm not pushing back, but I want to say this point. If I'm an Abercrombie model, I'm putting that photo on a dating app.
1,000% you are.
I'm just speaking.
Oh no.
Well, that's just a cheat code.
Well, dude, he worked hard for that body to some extent. It's not like he just got born this way. It's like I'm looking at
Lady Gaga would say it.
Yeah. Lady Gaga would say what?
Lady Gaga would say it's a song.
Nothing. I don't know that. Well, Born This Way. Okay, got it. Yeah. I think. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Okay, yes, post your body, 100%. Don't post your airbrush photo. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair enough. Yeah.
What should you post then?
Just be a fucking human.
Yeah.
You hanging out with your friends? Post that.
Selfie?
No, sure. I don't care. Like what?
You should have more than one photo, first of all.
Oh, obviously.
And not from this fucking angle.
Not from that angle. If you're in a group, identify yourself, right?
Yes.
Don't wear sunglasses. That's another one. Don't do mirror selfies.
Yes.
Like
don't go a group shot of 17 guys.
Okay, but actually though.
No, but you can do that. Just say, I'm this one.
No, you can't. How do you do that? You can't do that.
In your profile, just be like, on the photo, I'm the one wearing the blue shirt.
Yeah, or put a fucking red arrow and make it a YouTube thumbnail. Whatever you want to do, man. Like, exactly. And you're like circling it and it's like zoomed out and like this
Okay,
whole
but that's
thing.
so funny though. Like if that is your humor,
Totally.
then do that.
That's pretty funny.
But it's like, okay, so we live in this world where we take photos all the time, and you're telling me that you have the dog photo, the fish photo, the selfie photo, and your friend's photo, and that's all you can put on there. I mean, like I haven't
there's
been on
probably
dating
a lot.
apps in a while, but is that still the trend? Because I
Probably.
think so.
I haven't been on in years.
Girls, stop saying that you travel and like wine.
That's all.
I know you like that.
I love the outdoors.
Thank you.
I love to travel.
I love it, and like freedom is a kite or something.
Yeah,
like
some
some-
random expression.
like, can you just be a human? Just be a human.
It's harder advice than you think.
Yeah, but what would you? I know what you mean, but like, I'm just curious. Like, what else would you write? Like, what would, like, what's an example of something that's probably good to write in a bio like that?
What do you actually want?
Like straight off the bat, you want to write your intention?
I am here for.
I mean,
Finish the sentence.
I mean, you could do that.
Yeah.
I want sex.
Or you could say,
But
just looking
say
for
it.
something casual.
Yeah, but say it.
Because
I agree.
I think
Callie's crying. Callie's crying in the back.
Cow's behind the door yelling. "Come on."
she's a little cat.
I know.
Not
right?
yet. 5 more minutes. Do some laps first.
Yeah, I think you need to show your intentions. Like I said, like the best results I had were when I said, let's go for a coffee and see what happens. Meaning I literally could say, we don't jive, I won't see you again. Or you could say that.
And it's all good.
And then it's all good. Or you know what? You only want to date someone who is open to they, them pronouns. Say that.
Yeah, true. Yeah, leave it all out before they find out.
Yeah.
It's a surprise later.
There was a girl I remember her so distinctly because she was like stunning. And I remember being like, oh, I'm going to swipe right on her. And then I read her profile and she's like, I'm a Wiccan. If you don't follow Wiccan values,
The fuck's a Wiccan?
It's like a witch.
Oh,
witch.
Jesus Christ.
Which I
I'd actually be interested in meeting her, but go on.
Okay, so I was like,
Just fuck.
okay. I was like, I would meet this person. But then I thought, am I going to have to play into Wiccan values? Because I don't know that I believe entirely fully in Wiccan values and I don't really know them. And I'm like, am I going to go research Wiccan values just to meet this person? Probably not. So like, I'm not going to swipe on her.
None of my brooms fly either, so that would be
Yeah, like
that's
that
not
just is like, my cauldron isn't big enough, you know, like, I don't know. I
my
have
poison's
nukes.
not as toxic.
Yeah, I don't know. My apple selection isn't great. So
I fly during the day, not at night when the full moon.
yeah.
Imagine.
But you know,
I
like,
get what you're saying.
yeah, I think it comes down. I will say this 1,000 times. I think it comes down to authenticity every time.
Yeah.
If you have a question, be like,
One thing you could actually speak to is I've heard from some listeners actually, but just from my own friends and like sort of a survey of our own tribe, guys are deeply under the impression that their physical body means more than I think it does. And I'm guessing you probably think it does, but I'd like to hear you say it because I'm curious, like from your
what, like the
perspective.
human, like a man's body will get him laid. Is that what
I'm
you're
saying more.
100%.
That's partly. Yeah, it's part of what I'm saying. I'm saying like the guys that let's say I've surveyed just like loosely or heard feedback from are under the impression that their physical appearance is more important, sometimes even the leading reason for why they would or would not be dateable. Let's say.
Interesting. I think in a superficial level, you walk up to what you're attracted to, right? So like in some cases, someone's going to see you and say, wow, they're really attractive. I'm going to go talk to them. But that's really superficial and probably not going to last.
Yeah, it's not sustainable.
No. However, I will say, if you take care of yourself.
I was actually saying hygiene. I'm thinking that's where you're going.
Well,
but
not even hygiene, like physical.
If
like try. I think is what you're
if
getting
you're
at.
trying, if you're trying to take care of yourself, if I sit down with Neema and I have a conversation with Neema, I know he works out 5 times a week, 3 times a
right
week.
now.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. That's like normal. Okay, you work out, you take care of your health because you have a diet that you follow. All of a sudden, Neema went up in the attractive scale because you take care of yourself. People.
For all the guys in the back who are listening, would you like to?
People like
3 to 5.
3 what?
3 out of 10 to 5.
I'm not putting a number. I hate that. On what scale, Neema?
I have no idea.
Exactly.
I'm a 7.
No.
Out of 7.
Yeah, 7.
Out of 4. Like out of
4.
what?
I'm a 1 out of 1. That means more than
7 out
one
of
thing.
4.
There you go, right?
Yeah.
7.5 out of
Bonus
4.
question, right?
Yeah, 4 to the power of 2.
But like, actually, you take care of yourself. You take care of yourself. You have confidence. You have boundaries. You're attractive.
Yeah, I think that's the most common thing I've heard amongst women who've said that.
And like, I think boundaries are the biggest thing.
Yeah, boundaries. Yeah.
Can you speak on that a little bit? What do you mean by that?
I don't know why. I literally came onto this podcast and have to constantly have to burp. So I'm
Are
sorry.
you vegan secretly?
I'm not.
You're not?
I'm not. I don't know. It's probably the tea.
Give us a blood test. and we'll see who's
It's the
lying.
Tim Hortons tea. That's
It's
for
the Tim
sure.
Hortons tea.
Definitely.
It's so good,
Yeah.
Boundaries. What do I mean by boundaries? You teach people how to treat you. So if someone's going to walk all over your boundaries and they can smell the desperation, again, it's people pleasing in some respects, it's not attractive. If I know I can get away with fucking anything with you.
Yeah. It's manipulative.
Yeah, but it's also like, so I will.
Of course I will.
Of course I will. And then and unfortunately there's a power dynamic. I win. Okay, well, when I've won, why
Why am I staying around?
Why am I sticking around? To hurt
Or
you
loyal.
more?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like, and I think so. When honestly, one of the most attractive things is when a guy goes, or when a woman, depending on it, there's different boundary rights for both genders.
Or these or them, yeah.
It's like they say, well, that was mean, or like, okay, but blah blah blah, and they call you out
On the spot.
not
Very important.
and not like you fucking tickle, of
course not.
whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just like they call you out and they go, that crossed my boundary. And you go, whoa, I have to adjust.
Big
and
time.
all of a sudden you're like, oh, you respect yourself.
Totally.
And you
Sexy
take
Mexi.
care of yourself. Yes, though,
Well
but it
said.
is so sexy
Well
to
said.
have somebody be like, this is who I am. I'm proud of who I am. I'm not changing for you or for anybody.
Love that.
Yeah.
Very good.
Doesn't mean you don't change like things that you need to work on for yourself.
No, but if someone
you-
says like change your outfit, I think
No.
you're disgusting in that. You go,
How we eat my ass.
do you know how many girls do that though, to men specifically?
I know, yeah.
They'll go,
I've heard,
you know, and that happened to me. I had a relationship with like, you dress too immaturely. So like
You said that, or he said?
He said that
oh,
to me.
you, to you.
The fuck does that mean?
you dress like a child. When I'm around you, I feel like I'm dating a teenager.
Well, that's your own problem.
Okay, but at the time I was like, okay. So I went and
Oh, right. People pleaser.
Yeah.
I went and I went and bought like mature outfits, and I threw out some of my favorite hoodies and
Yeah.
some
How
of
brutal.
and then I look back and I'm like,
Fuck.
Why? Yeah.
Why?
For who?
for who?
It's actually the question. For
Yeah.
And he's nowhere to be found now, and I don't have my favorite Tiger hoodie. Like, fuck
Jeez.
that.
Yeah.
who?
That's some bullshit.
Yeah, that's garbage.
Right.
Never do that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, but confidence is everything. Okay, you could be the schlubbiest,
Schlump.
grossest looking person, but you walk in with confidence, and you're like, I'm a schlub. You're like, fuck, you're hot, because you know who you are.
It's very interesting. I want
pretty
to add something to the boundaries thing you said, because I've said it once before. I think it's worth repeating. So Brene Brown is like my internet mom, and
Okay.
Gary's like my dad, right? And it's and so one of the things I took away from an interesting podcast she did with Russell Brand, I believe, was she talked about boundaries. And she said, look, like she gave this example of like her and her, I think she has 2 daughters, but I think her and her family were at like a family restaurant somewhere, and she's like, you know, if you're in this situation and like her daughter in this case, like daughter is like causing a ruckus and like causing a whole thing, you know, the warning signals or the warning fires or shot, you know, warning shots, whatever, like from the, hey, like you need to cut this out, or, you know, like we're not gonna have a nice time, or like some, whatever. If you're not willing to look at that kid and say, look, like this happens again, like we're getting up and leaving, and then it happens again and you don't actually get up and leave. What she said after that was far less wholesome than the story up until that point, but it really drilled it into my brain. Like it almost like it tattooed itself on the inside. She goes, you know what's going to happen when that girl turns 16 and she's on the bleachers in the park in the back of a car with a boyfriend or whatever. She's modeling behaviors based on what her parents showed her, right? So if you're in a restaurant and you're causing a whole ruckus and I say, you do this again, we're getting up and leaving. You do it again, we don't get up and leave. I've just shown you exactly what you just illustrated with like, well, I'm all of a sudden the power position, right? But when she said that part, and I was like, well, damn, like that's like really scary actually, right? When you think about like that girl is, you know, in a situation now where like she's saying no, right? It doesn't have to be a rape situation. I'm just saying like it's an uncomfortable
Always
situation.
going
Okay?
back to that.
I know we said like rape like 10 times today, but
YouTube is not gonna like that.
no, bleep. But I just thought that was interesting for her to illustrate, because it's really important that, like, as a partner or as a parent or as a friend, wherever, like, you, even when it's hard, especially actually when it's hard, you really have to stick up to it. You have to say, because what's going to happen down the line is that, you know, to finish my thought, like, she'll be in a car or whatever, like, she'll say no, and he'll say yes, again, not because it's aggressive, because he's just a 6-year-old kid who just wants to, like, feel his first boob or something, right? But you don't get up and get out of the car or walk away. Now we're setting a precedent which gets further and further more dangerous until, and the scary part is the until part. Is it until something actually seriously bad happens, or until you just have been treated from assholes enough times where, like, and you know, that's the more wholesome version of it, of like, they're just a bunch of assholes, you level up. And that's great. And, like, you know, I don't know, you know, but the boundaries thing is interesting to hear from your perspective, actually, because I've heard it before, like, from, like, reading it, but hearing it of, like, saying, well, if, you know, if you're in a relationship with somebody, particularly as a woman, and the guy says, hey, wait a second, like, that's bullshit, or that was mean, or whatever, in that moment, I actually sense, like, yeah, that would be pretty attractive, even if the roles were reversed, even if, especially actually, you know, so I think that's interesting. And you learn this in therapy, maybe, or is this, like, experiential?
Mainly therapy, mainly, like, why did it get to such a point? Like, for me, it's a lot of it. I'm very much do learn from my mistakes and redo. Like, I learn from doing it wrong the first 50 times. You know what I mean? Like, so
you're not like 50. A reader or like a listener, like, so much? Or
I do read and I do listen, but in order to implement, I have to experience it. In a lot of ways. I mean, obviously not to, like, there are certain things that, you know, hit home and I can understand them, maybe seeing it from someone else's perspective, or even, like, watching a movie and seeing it happen and being like, okay, don't do that, you know? But in terms of boundaries for me, I had to learn it the hard way. And then have the experience of someone, like, holding me to my boundaries and saying, like, you crossed a boundary, you crossed it again. And me being like, wow, instead of being reactive and angry, which sometimes I get, like, when you're embarrassed, depending on if your response is fight, flight, or freeze, you react how you react, right? But then after processing that, you're like, wait a second. Yeah, I'm being held to a boundary, so I need to make sure that I watch myself. And then I don't know. I guess, like, I mean, talking about it definitely helps with a therapist always. But
what kind of therapy do you do?
Just mainly just talk therapy. But, you know, journaling and stuff like that helps you, like, after the sessions and stuff like that. I'm very obsessed with self-help books. Any
books you want to recommend?
Oh my God, The 4 Agreements is probably my favorite.
4 Agreements.
It's so good. I think there's 5 actually, but that book covers 4, and then there's a 5th book for just the 5th one. The one that always sticks out to me is be impeccable with your word, which is something that I've been working on incredibly.
Precision of speech.
Yeah, like, you say what you mean. And that comes with boundaries too, right? Like, holding yourself up to your boundaries. And I think people get this, like, weird impression that, like, boundaries is like yelling at someone and telling them, like, get the fuck off my lawn, right? But it's not
it's really not that at all.
No, it's like learning how to communicate. And if I'm honest, like, this is a very new thing for me, like, learning to communicate my boundaries, learning to communicate my feelings. Like, I'm very someone who will sit on them and then explode. It's very Greek. That's very Greek.
Definitely.
Yeah, we've seen that story play out a few times before.
Yeah. You're right. You sit on it, you think, oh, it's not a big deal. Instead of being like, you know, when you said that hurt my feelings.
It's very hard to do it in the moment, to be honest. But
oh yeah, especially if it's triggered some kind of, like, rage or something in you, or sadness or something like that. Like, it's super hard. Yeah. And then there's also the thing that's like, you don't have to talk about it every time it happens, but you need to check it. Like,
yeah.
You know, oh, that crossed a boundary.
Yeah, okay, or at least take a breath, come back in a few minutes, and then.
Which is really hard to do too.
It's very hard.
Like, count to 10 when you're angry. Worst. I can't remember to count to 10.
Yeah, I just want to fucking throw my head into a wall right now. Fuck counting.
I'm laughing because I know what it's like.
Yeah, legit.
Right? Like, count to 10. Shit, I should have counted to 10 or
only.
Seeing red, but
eyes twitching and
now everything's broken.
Yeah, damn it.
What other authors or, like, speakers or self-help people have you learned from?
Evie Pompouris's book, something bulletproof, Becoming Bulletproof, incredible.
She had some great interviews on some podcasts I've watched.
She's such a bomb.
She's a badass
human. Like, I love her. And Brendan Burchard is really good, but I will say, I have nothing against Brendan Burchard, but I will say his marketing team is too good to the point where I had to stop watching and taking in his content because they called me to be like somebody a part of his like training, which cost thousands and thousands of dollars. And I was saddened by that because I really like him and I really like what he has to say. And he's really about like putting things forward and doing in action, which I love.
Yeah, he's great.
He's so good. But then when they called me, I felt cheaped out. I was like, you want to take my money?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it's a little business. Yeah.
Right? Gary Vee's incredible. Did he block you?
I thought he did, but then I DM'd all his team and like they unblocked me.
It was just a misunderstanding. They thought he was like a spam bot thingy because like he puts up videos and then a lot of people will tag Gary Vee on his video, and so somebody will see his video come up like 100 times in like 5 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's just a misunderstanding, but I mean he's back now.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah,
It was
because
like
I was surprised when I heard that. I was like, Gary Vee blocked you? That's
Yeah, I
weird.
know. There was no way he would actually do it though. Yeah.
No, I feel like he'd be like,
Yeah,
good impression,
funny
bud.
for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Gary Vee's great.
Anybody else comes to mind?
Do you know Carol Dweck?
Dweck? Dweck? No, I don't think so.
She wrote a book called Mindset. It's really good. I would highly recommend it.
Okay.
I consider it
It's one of the pretty
I consider our Bible to be
Yeah?
good.
It's pretty
It
good.
sits at the
Mindset.
top of the. I think it's the most important book any adult could read.
Oh, that's cool.
Should borrow it.
I think Attached. Have you heard of Attached?
No.
It's by Amir Levine and I forget the other co-author, but that's like the parallel of what I would say, like if you're going to a relationship and you're an adult who knows how to read and you're literate, you like this is the Bible. Like it's all like I sort of like half tongue in cheekily. I said this before. I was like, I'm gonna start showing up to dates with like a required reading list.
Do it.
And then like, hold on, did you read this book? And they'll be like, no. I'll be like,
This
1
is
week.
over.
Book report on my desk on Monday. We can go for it.
Put that in your profile.
No, I absolutely will.
That's a good idea, actually.
For me, it's like a double whammy in a sense because I also personally enjoy reading, and so like that's just something that somebody should know about me, and I want them to know, right? Because
Yeah.
and actually we so I read the Brendan Burchard book. It's up there, but we use his planner,
Do you?
his high performance planner.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So Brendan Burchard's great. We didn't get a call from him like you did, but
The one qualm I have is the fuck up in the books. So
yeah, there's one
so
issue.
annoying.
I know. So he has these high performance planners, which I'm not sure if you knew. For some reason though, like depending on the color, because he has different colors, they're all the same journal.
Okay.
But for some reason, like a black journal or the red one or they're missing pages and it's inconsistent.
Does he know that?
Yeah, he knows. He emailed them and he's like,
they got back to me and they're like, yeah.
so because we sit down right every Monday, we have a coaching session.
Yeah.
It's not Mondays anymore, but we have a coaching session every week.
Okay.
And we sit down with our planners and we go through, and I would, have the one where it's like a monthly review, weekly review, life goals, long term, and all these other extra sort of pages or whatever. And he wouldn't have any of those.
Mine just has the daily fucking time.
You're
Yeah.
not allowed to have a weekly review.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, no weekly review.
Yeah.
for
You
you.
chose black.
piece
You
of
don't
shit.
get it.
Yeah.
But Brendan
It's so
Short's
annoying.
great.
But other than that, it's great though. It
Yeah.
helps organize really well.
I find his prompts are very like they lead you down like a path of like you determining what's the best way for me to live my day today.
Yeah, and just
I love it.
like thinking. It really does come down to thinking for yourself and like not being persuaded by anybody else. Being like, okay, what do I want to do with my day today? If nobody else told me what to do, what do I want to do?
It's just good to sit down by yourself and express these thoughts onto paper.
People don't do that though.
At all. Like
They don't.
literally at
Don't do
all.
it.
They
Yeah.
don't
None of my friends do.
they don't self-reflect. They don't do any of that.
I didn't even do it until this past year.
Right, because like we feel like we don't need to because everything is being fed to us.
Yeah.
It's it's like calculator work. It's like 5 + 5 =
Brutal.
10. Instagram,
Yeah, exactly.
Facebook equals my opinion. It's like, wait a
That's
second.
true.
I think social media is going to start dying. This is my new hypothesis in
Well,
life.
it means I'm gonna die.
I hope it does. I hope it does. I hope it does. I just think that like there are content creators like you who I know that would be detrimental to, but you could find some other way to
You'll always
create
be able to.
content or to have a production company or something. And the social media as like a pedestal for everybody's opinions.
Yeah, it's really toxic.
Can't.
Super toxic, especially Twitter.
Oh man, I avoid Twitter at all costs.
Twitter's fucked.
It's
Twitter's literally a bullying platform.
Last week, I bullied Justin Trudeau on Twitter.
what did you
Legit.
say?
Oh,
Exactly.
I ended him.
He won though, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't say he won. I would say the polls show you have the most seats because of a corrupt system, but
Yeah.
you didn't even get the most votes.
He did it.
Because the whole point was to get a majority, right? That was the whole idea.
Yeah, but
You didn't
nothing
get it.
happened.
In what world? We live in Canada. You actually think there's going to be a majority government? When was the last time we had a majority government?
The first time he won, he had a majority Liberal government. So 6 years ago.
6 years ago.
He can theoretically keep running. You can just keep going.
That's what I was going to say, though. So why?
William Leon, I don't know how to say that. Mackenzie, one of the earlier prime ministers, was prime minister for 21 years.
Oh, fuck.
Not consecutively, but 21 years.
21 years,
The
yeah.
longest consecutive term was 15 years. And I don't remember what the prime minister was. I forget.
Jesus Christ.
That's exhausting.
Why would
Can you
even
imagine?
do that?
Like, I feel like being prime minister just sounds cool, but I feel like it would suck.
Yeah, for like a week.
It would suck if you're shitty at your job too,
Yeah.
which he is. I'm openly critical of this guy. I actually
Trudeau?
I think he's an actual idiot. I'm not saying that to be like facetious. Like I literally
Gets
think
super passionate about
he's
it.
a true moron. But that's my opinion.
I couldn't get into the politics because I try and avoid that kind of politics as much as I can because it's honestly super depressing. But I will say, Justin Trudeau should learn how to speak.
Yep.
Public speak.
Yeah.
How the father that he had, does he speak the way he speaks? Literally, it's like my one pet peeve about him. I mean, again, avoiding politics. As a human, I'm like, why do you breathe in the middle of your sentences?
Yeah.
As an actor, it's like the worst thing you could ever do. He's like, so we're thinking that in Canada, and you're like, you had to stop and think about the country you're representing.
Fucking loser.
It's pretty annoying. I know. Yeah.
Did you vote?
I did not.
That's actually no, and I want to know why. I'm very curious.
Because it didn't work with my schedule. I got my voting card and was like, oh my God, that's literally Monday. And then was like, I can't go.
Would you have voted though? Like, have you voted in the past?
Yes. Oh yeah. And I will not vote if I don't do my research.
So before I ask you who you voted for, I'll say it so that we can like have this basis of understanding. So I've voted NDP my entire life up until the last time, which I actually did vote for Justin Trudeau.
Okay.
You
and then this
fucking
time,
bigot.
I know. And this time I voted for PPC.
Okay.
So
I believe that.
yeah. So who did you can tell me who you voted for, but I'm more curious how you got to your decision.
So I didn't vote this time, obviously, but prior I voted Liberal. I voted for Trudeau. I have found in the past that conservative government doesn't support the arts, and as an actor, I need the arts supported. So like that goes obvious. However, this platform this year, like this Monday's, conservatives seem to be very gung-ho with the arts. So had I voted, I may have voted conservative, which I feel like is not a sentence I ever thought I'd say.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
Believe me, I never thought of it.
Yeah, but I didn't end up voting, so I honestly can't complain for the next however many years. But yeah, I think that if you're gonna vote, like I know people are like, oh, you need to vote because then blah blah blah. But if you're gonna vote, you need to know why you're voting. Don't go voting because your parents vote that or your friends vote that. Like, do your research. And there are now, like, we have the internet. There are websites literally comparing the parties. You don't have to look that far.
Yeah.
But I'd be very curious to actually, I know why, but I'd love to hear why you voted PPC.
One, Trudeau's an idiot. So I want to
really
abundantly make
Justin
that clear. Hate is actually a really strong word, and I'm not saying hate, but whatever's the 1/10 notch below that, that's how I feel about him.
Okay.
I won't get into why because I'm going to derail the question, but I'm asking because it's interesting you're here today because as of yesterday and 2 days before, so I've been leading up to that moment of like complaints and like there's this like anger within me and like I've always been in leadership positions my whole life.
Okay.
I know nothing about politics until a year ago. I didn't know what red or blue even meant, what they were.
Okay. But
like most people, I voted NDP and Liberal and whatever, mainly because of people around me, if not directly because of that. So I realized like there's a lot of things to realize, but one of the main ones was I ultimately can't sit here and complain and then not do anything about it. So I can either complain and do something, and I'll happily do that one, or I can't say anything and I might as well shut up and like, whatever. So yesterday or 2 days ago was when I got the results. It's interesting. I get a chance to explain this now, not like 2 years from now when like hopefully something has happened. But that day I was like, I actually have no choice now. Now I have to go and do something about this. I felt like a duty, like when people say like they feel called to it. And I've been denying this my whole life, like a lot of the last few years of like, nah, that's stupid. Who would, why would you be in politics or office, blah, blah, blah. And then I realized, and I took one good look at Justin Trudeau and I look at Doug Ford and all the other miscreants, in my opinion. And I'm like, I can just see a better way. I don't think I can do better yet. And right now, as I'm sitting here in my parents' basement, a lot of people probably don't believe it either. But the belief has to start with me. And I realized like the only person who's going to be like, the only person who knows what I think I'm capable of is obviously myself, right? And I'm the only one. Plus, nobody else is going to run the race for me. And so I asked because I don't know what office or what platform or if or when or any of those things yet, but I'm starting to, how do I put this? Starting to like produce the reasons for why a better way of governance could emerge, and how could it emerge? And so I'm starting to ask, what do you value? Obviously, I heard arts so far, and freedom, I'm assuming, is like a universal thing. So I'm asking these questions to realize, like, well, how did people come to the decision they got to? I mean, why don't they vote? Or when they do go and vote, why do you just take somebody else's opinion? Or why not go there and void your vote and say, I don't actually think any of these people represent me? Like, there's a lot of options, right? That would be cool. And so I asked because I'm at this point now where I'm like, if not me, then who? And if not now, then when? And I think this has actually nothing to do with like the old white guy thing, but I think I'm younger and I think I have some interesting ideas. I don't know if they're good or not. That remains to be seen. But I think I'm a young person who's been working the last 3 years to be able to say to a group of people or other candidates and whatever, just look at them and be like, I'm just going to outwork you. And that'll be it. I can't say that yet, but I want to, we have this Kobe Mamba thing within us where I'm like, I'm willing to die on the treadmill. That's like a Will Smith thing. I don't know if you've seen that, where he's like, I'll just keep running. I'm willing to die.
Right.
And so I'm at that point now, right? Between free speech and like things that are getting taken away from him and like his accounts and like sort of whatever. And I've been talking about it for weeks and months with my own intimate friends, like personally in our conversations. And like, I've been humbled by lots of feedback and compliments from people who listen to the show, and they say, oh, I think you speak eloquently, or you have a nice voice, or I think you have good ideas, or whatever they're saying. And I actually start to believe it. Right. And like, when I started to believe that, I was like, you know what? Why not me?
Why not you?
And I couldn't answer that up until 2 days ago. And I looked at this and I was like, somebody who I tremendously admire, he's a social philosopher, and he spoke something about, have you ever met those people who they meet like the cause that's greater than the fear of like public speaking? Right. And they're like, I'm no longer afraid of not talking about it because I'm afraid of what they think. I now have to say something, and they forget that they're afraid of public speaking. When I looked at Justin Trudeau, and I'm not only picking on him. I think they're all idiots. But when I looked at that, and I was like, there has to be a better way. And if there isn't one, and if there isn't one, I'll make one. And that's one of the earliest quotes in Latin. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, but it's like inveniam os fatium, which is something like, I'll either find a way or I'll make one. That was like one of the first things I ever really latched onto in my life. And I'm super independent, actually to a fault at times, because like I
feel that.
Yeah, I'm assuming you can parallel with that. So that's it. I'm at this point where I'm like, I have to break walls and show people now. There's no more like, and it's not aggressive in a way, but it's like, most people are stupid, myself included. The difference is I know that. The difference is I know that my perspective is partial, is truthful, but it's not the truth. And so going into an arena where like you're trying to, like, democracy is actually a pretty crazy idea when you think about it, right? Like, it's actually a wild idea, right? Like, some large group of strangers are all going to coordinate and compromise for one another, and they haven't met one another before. But I'll tell you what, it's better than that. It's better than China. And it's better than whatever the opposite of that was, which is pure chaos, right? And like feudalism and all these other crazy ideas. So anyways, short of getting like hijacking the conversation to something completely different, to answer your question, I'm doing it because I think I see a better way.
That's a good answer. I think if you thought it through to that point, then yeah.
It's meant to be.
Well, I just think that like yeah, like if you've thought through to the point where you're like, well, I need to do something about this. This is what I'm going to do it. I think that's fantastic. And I think people need to be able to talk about politics in a way that like they know they're idiots. Like I think like I will actually say, you say something about one of the party's opinions and I don't know it, I'm not going to try and be like, but right. That's what it is. And I think that's what most people do. And that's why they like literally prove that they're idiots because they're trying to tell you what they believe is the truth. And honestly, I've been there. I've been the person like trying to shove what I think is right down people's throats and it doesn't work. Like, people don't listen.
Yeah. No, they don't.
They don't.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, and I don't blame people anymore. Like there was a time when you're like, oh, people are so dumb. Again, myself included. Now, because you mentioned social media and just like the internet at large as a whole, and like it's easy to see how you could get nihilistic, meaning you just don't believe in anything because you're like, well, I can't tell what's true. There's too much information to go through, process, and try to make any kind of sense of. So here's what I can share. So perhaps one of the most profound things I think I've listened or learned is I think it was George Washington. At the inception of democracy, he said that the number one aim of the federal government should be the comprehensive education of all the citizens in the science of government. He didn't say...
That sentence just went way over my head.
I'll explain it though.
Way over my head.
No, I don't expect you to understand the quote. No. So he didn't say like the goal of the federal government should be to protect its borders. He didn't say the goal of the government should be to economically thrive. Like he could have because you could achieve that with a police state, you could achieve that with like a different kind of operation. Like it doesn't have to be democracy. So the only way that democracy remains that way is if there's shared conversation. That's ultimately what this is coming down to. So he said that the ultimate goal of the federal government should be that everybody comprehensively understands the science of what government even means. So what's the economy doing? What's the climate doing? What's this? Like give people the chance to make sense of the world similarly to you. You actually don't want it to be the same way. And that's the mistake I think a lot of people make. And then you end up in China where everybody has to believe the same thing. I'm actually saying, I really want you to make sense of the world differently than me, but not so different that we're not on the same basis of reality. We have to have shared similarities, but there has to be things that you see and then come and tell me because I really need that information. I really want that information. Mm-hmm. But the reverse also has to be true. The government has to proactively have a fourth estate, which is media, news channels, whatever, that shares the information of, hey, this is what's going on. This is how hot it's getting. This is how poor we are. This is whatever. Like, but when you don't tell any of those things anymore, and it's just vote for me because I'm going to promise these 6 things. It's like, well, what about these other 6 things? Why only these ones? Why only to this? So anyways, we can get, I don't want to turn into a CNN podcast, but I've thought this incredibly deeply through. And I'm sure there's more to be thought through, but that's where I'm at. I'm at this point where I'm like, there's just, because we'll be fucked, right? like to be jovial, like we'll be fucked if we don't actually course correct.
I agree.
That's so true.
I agree. Like, where are we going to go? Like, how much further? It's not that far away.
As far as I see it, it's cultural enlightenment or bust. And the human experiment will come to an end. I don't mean to be pessimistic, but you just look at a few history pages and you'll be like, okay, well, we have weapons now that can actually eliminate the world 7 times over. We've never had that capacity before.
I know.
And the chances, and the reason we haven't blown ourselves up mainly is because of luck. And mainly, no, I mean this seriously. Like if you look at some of the nuclear footballs that have reached like 0, we've mostly gotten the way of them by luck. So like we could fully end this whole thing. So how do you find coherence between people who could nuke each other and then get them to, collaborate with each other?
Like nuke each other. Who would have thought that's a real fucking sentence?
The whole, like that's nuts to think about.
Nuke each other.
And it's dangerous, man. Like think you don't have, like we can't, none of us at this table can make sense of the world the same way because we're all getting different information from whatever algorithm is feeding it to you.
Oh, 100%.
So we can't make sense of the world the same way. How could we make decisions together?
Even like on like a large scale, like on tiny things. Like my friend and I were watching a TV show on like a streaming platform and there was ads in between, like, because it's off of TV. We got different ads.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
Like a cable,
like CBC Gem, like the ones that
makes sense.
We got different ads, and I was like, "This is a funny ad." She's like, "What ad are you seeing?" I'm seeing this one. It's not funny. I was like, "What?"
Yeah, I know. It's catered to you.
It's nuts.
Can you imagine
That's
the world?
fucking crazy.
Can you imagine the world we could have lived in if we had turned the algorithm of social media from an ad model, meaning like, let me put things in front of you so advertisers can pay me for the attention that I'm giving them, blah, blah. Imagine you took what you know about people and what you've like, data you've collected, how they learn, how they like, you could do that and point it towards how do I make them the best citizen possible?
Yeah.
Because you have it's actually in place. This is the lunacy of this, in my opinion. Like, you have this thing in place which is replicating the old 100-person town hall phenomena of what democracy actually was built on, right? Like a shared conversation. Everybody's in the same room. We can look at each other, blah, blah. You could actually accomplish that with the internet. You could go, hey, Facebook, instead of selling me ads and putting my information, blah, 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 instead of selling any of that, why don't you show me the creative material, whether it's in written, video, audio, that is better for my
Mental
learning
health
style.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
And then, hey, this is what's happening in the economy. This is what's happening in safety. This is what's going on with what people mean when they say defund the police. Like, I'm just saying, like, if you turn to this machine and just pointed it towards how do I make people the best they could be, instead of how do I sell them shit they don't even want,
and consume
so
it.
dumb.
Well, that's my motto is be the best you can be. Like but you have to work so hard to do that because of all of this.
Growth,
Because they're being bombarded with, like, if you're depressed and you look up a post on Instagram about depression, the rest of your discover will be about depression, as opposed to what's going to get you out of that depression, or what's, if you look up, like, I think of those poor girls who are going through puberty right now and are seeing all the body stuff on TikTok,
so
on
interesting you
Instagram,
say that.
Crazy.
and they're being bombarded with that. And then on top of that, the algorithm's like, oh, that's what you want to see?
Yeah,
Here's some bulimia videos. Here's some anorexia videos. Here's some eating disorder ones. It's actually very well studied. And I'm refreshed that you brought that up as an example.
Body dysmorphia.
It's no, but it's seriously, and honestly, I remember as a young teenager, like a friend of mine going, well, I want to sit on this side. We were taking photos with those Kodak cameras, okay? Like a long time ago. And I remember her saying, I want to sit on this side because this side of my face is better. And in that moment, I was like, you're supposed to have a side of your face that's
better?
Better?
What the fuck does that mean?
Right. That was like in person. Social media.
And that was
that was before social media. That was like before Facebook, right?
That's insane.
So I can't actually wrap my head around what it must be now then.
Oh, the filters are insane right now. People literally only put on filters with their photos and videos and videos too.
Yeah, because they want to look like this fake thing.
It's
and imagine,
weird.
my one friend gave me I didn't actually realize what side of my face was good. I just figured it was all shit, and that that's all that. Like, as a
you thought it was all shit? I think you're gonna say the opposite of like, oh, it's all good.
No, well, I just didn't. If it's shit or if it's all good, it's like the same thing. Like, you don't care about the side, right?
That's fair.
And as a young teenager, you think that it is shit, and then you go into it. Whatever, fine. But imagine that was my one friend telling me about this one thing that was her insecurity.
Wow.
Right.
Think with all the internet telling you.
I know.
I mean, I just posted something on Instagram today about girls taking out their own IUDs because they saw it on TikTok.
Why though?
Jesus Christ.
Who knows, right? Yeah, okay. There's no answer.
I want to take it out. It's making me gain weight, whatever reason. And then they go and do it themselves. I'm sorry, you're sticking your own fingers up your uterus and pulling out, and like,
it just sounds painful.
God.
Honestly.
why would, but the internet's bombarding people and saying that that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that, like, it's so toxic.
I know.
It's scary.
It's brainwashing.
It is.
If you think about like the strength of artificial intelligence, like this algorithm, I made this example before, and I'll share it again. So Deep Blue is the name of the AI that beat Gary Kasparov. He was a world master, like he's a master chess player, like a 25 years, like he's the best chess player maybe ever of all time. Okay, so 10 or more, I think it was a while ago. It wasn't like 2020 or something like that. It was like several years ago. He was knowingly in a game with this AI called Deep Blue and a chess game. Okay. So we're talking the person who literally, like, there's not another human on earth that's better at this game than this guy is. And this AI beat him easily. Okay? Here's what's scary. He knew he was in a game. He knew he was playing an AI.
Okay.
You and me on Instagram and on Facebook, we don't even know we're in a game with an AI like Gary did. And the AI has the capacity to learn more about you more specifically as time goes on. And it's it's exponential. So it gets stronger and better as time goes on. That was one isolated incident where one person played an AI and lost. And let's also be clear. Gary Kasparov is better at chess than you and me are at anything. I don't mean that to dumb us down. I'm saying like if LeBron was here, I'd be like, well, he's better at basketball than I am pretty much at anything else.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm not good at anything. It just means he's a fucking master, right? So he knows. Anyways, so when you look at like the you versus Facebook and their AI and the money that goes into it and how it's been learning about you, for me, I don't know, 2006, I think I got on there.
Came out, yeah.
Literally, I remember getting an invite because that's how it really originally was, right?
Yeah.
How much do you think Facebook has learned about me over the last 15 years?
Oh, it could replicate you in a second.
Clone you.
And to think that you have a chance to have any self-determining autonomy of like, my thoughts are my own.
No way.
It's just wrong. Like, I could use a much expletive word after that, but it's just wrong. Like, it's incorrect.
Everything you know is from everything you see.
Yeah. Well, it's like
around you.
They say the 5, right? We've talked about this. The 5 people around you are the most important people around you. Social media is one of those people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very good. And that's why we've expanded that sentence to saying not only it is the 100%, it's the 5 people that you spend most time with. Mm-hmm. I'd also like to expand that definition to include, it's also the 5 ideas you spend the most time with.
1,000%.
5 is just an arbitrary number, but I understand your point. And like
what are you consuming? You're consuming.
What are you consuming?
What are you consuming? Music, media, like television, movies, books.
You know what would be a good example, like a good parallel is like, you know, the I don't know, guy or girl, person who's, you know, aggressively trying to lose weight and they're super specific on what goes into their body. Just parallel that for social media, man. Be a ninja, right? On like the same way you are with food. I'm not saying you, but like whoever it is, like feed yourself a steady, information-rich diet, so to speak.
It's
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, 1,000%. Like, can't underline that more. Mm-hmm. When I got off social media in April, and I'm like entering back in slowly now, and then like, but like not caring anywhere as much as I did, and.
What did you care about before?
Just like the dopamine hit, like, oh, the likes and the, you know,
like validation,
followers, like all that stuff, right? Got off it, had a brain glitch or maybe it's a blessing and got off it and everything changed. Like I lost 12 pounds.
Wow.
I got really fit. Like just because I wasn't being bombarded with all this stuff that was making me feel shitty.
Wow.
And were you seeing like, what's it called? Like body dysmorphia stuff or just no.
There's like, you know, other actors who look great or, you know, and part of it is like, okay, you see all your, like for actors, you see all your friends working and you feel like shit about yourself. Yeah. So you can
see all your friends what?
Working. Like they book something and they're on a show or whatever, or,
I see what you're saying.
You know, and it makes you feel like shit because you're like, why am I not doing it?
How do you, what are the worst ways that you compare yourselves to other people?
Work used to be one of them. It's not anymore.
Like how often you would be booked? Is that what you're saying?
Like how often you're on set. Obviously body shape and size was a big one. It's not one anymore for me, but it used to be. Right now, I actually don't know. Maybe it's like how good a person I am. I think that's the one. It's like, can I be a better person? Mm-hmm. That's a big one. Also, can we pause because I have to pee
you can go
so badly. Like if you were watching like a time lapse, you would see my bladder growing. I have to pee so bad.
No, we're not gonna stop it. We're just gonna keep it rolling.
No, we just keep rolling.
Okay,
and then you can come.
And if we talk shit, you'll be able to hear us because the bathroom's just down the hall here.
Yeah, you just gotta pissing like a racehorse.
That's it. Racing like a piss horse. One of the two.
Yeah, it's because of that big ass water jug you have. I wish I could.
I haven't even drank out of that. It's just.
Wait, where is it? I don't even know where it is. It's like this.
We're actually on video because actually show it now, yeah.
How much time are we at?
To be honest, actually, we went over the time we originally had set out to do.
Oh, shit.
All right. We're at 2 hours now. So we can wrap it up here. So we'll wait for her to come back and we can say all the salutations and greetings and whatever.
Well, I could talk about something real quick about the podcast video that posted on Instagram.
Oh yeah,
did really well.
Okay,
people really fucked with it. And
what did you? For people who didn't see it, what did you post?
It was just a small little clip, a reel from episode 110. If you haven't watched that, obviously, was a really good episode, and just a small clip that I posted on Instagram as a reel, as a preview from the podcast that we recorded. It was the first video that we did too. Performed really well on my Instagram, and a lot of good feedback, and a lot of people liked it. And I feel like this is going to be the thing that'll take the podcast to the next level. And the video is definitely going to do much better for sure going forward if we just stay consistent.
I know I talked about it a little bit last time, but between like coming to the realization that I have to step forward and like do the thing that's been like deeply within my gut and my heart and like follow that kind of like public life or that dream.
Yeah.
A step towards that was being on video as I am right now. Hello. Hi.
Legit.
I'm sure Alex can hear us, so I'll speak to share the story a little bit from like where I came from like a social media standpoint. I've shared this on this podcast before, but like being somebody who was like purposely in the public eye in a different career in a different time in my life, then looking back and realizing like, wow, like I really dug myself a really big hole. Like the comparison that she alluded to earlier and like looking at other people and just comparison like all around shut my self-esteem down to the point of like, you get hurt in a sense, like you're like what is it called? Like you get a war wound or something like, and you have to go like retreat and like go like lick your wounds and like take care of yourself. And so that period is like pretty much come to an end now. I was going to say ending, but actually obviously has come to an end. It's come to an end. And it's liberating to say the least.
Nice.
I would say that I feel it's, so I actually said this to you yesterday. I feel liberated because the same thing that I experienced with the audio podcast, because that was its own, I can't put out my voice and then wait 2 years and maybe think about me putting your face. Right. But the same thing that I experienced when I put out the first podcast episode of like, I put it out and like, guess what? Nobody died.
I know.
Like the world didn't explode. Like I'm not, I don't know, getting weird feedback or message or like whatever weird thing you think was going to happen in your mind of like, I'm going to put myself out there and now we're all fucked. Hasn't happened. And I'm happy that I'm here now at this point because it was a journey to get to this point, right?
This is episode 114. 110 technically is the first time we did the video.
Right.
And you were scared to put your face on video for that many episodes over a year and a half.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Are you serious? This is like the fourth video that you've done video?
Yeah.
Fourth or fifth. It's the fourth one. It's the fourth one.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Well, I was telling him like 114 episodes ago, I was against even putting my voice on the internet anywhere.
So scared.
Coming from a person who's like purely public, like on Instagram public, at my job, like every facet of my life, like comfortable in front of a camera, like as I feel right now, I feel totally comfortable. Obviously, as an evolved, different person than before, but leading up to this point, like I explained it on episode 100, I think, even where I said the journey of like getting to that point was so it was like strenuous and like I had to get over a lot of my own insecurities and sort of ideas about myself. But I basically delayed putting out like the first like 30 episodes. I do the posting and the editing and stuff. Just because I was like, let's just bank a bunch of episodes and like, then we'll put them all at once. Like not being able to say like, hey, I know we recorded it, but you and I recorded it here and it's, on my hard drive. It's not in the world yet. Like, but because you can't say that and because you would have to explain why and I wasn't ready to or didn't know or whatever. Now we're at this point where I'm like, to maybe wrap up the conversation with what you said at the very beginning, the skipping rope, right? As long as you keep jumping, I think maybe as a good takeaway, as one of the good takeaways is like, you just have to keep jumping, right? Like keep getting hit, but keep going. Whereas for me, like being somebody, I guess people pleasing in a way I can relate to, like I was like, I'm going to be loved if I can achieve things. I won't be loved for who I am, but if I can perform or if I can win or something like that, I'll be loved for that reason. But as you put out, like you take the action, that's why Gary Vee, not joking this time, like that's why I really, really love this dude. Because he's like, action is the cure to all your anxiety. That's it.
It's true though.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm shocked to hear that you were like insecure. I mean, just like getting to know you over however long we've been chatting. I'm shocked to hear that you were nervous to like put it out.
Debilitating.
That's nuts to me. You don't seem...
I'll take that as a compliment.
No, because like you seem like very comfortable in your own skin. Like you seem like you're a doer, right?
Thank
so
you.
The fact that you were like, I put it off is actually like, I'm like, really? Like, are you sure? Like, that's nuts.
I went to him a couple times to say, hey, like maybe 1 or 2 times, like I like to record the episode again because I don't like what I said.
Yeah. I was fucking pissed.
Early in the process. Yeah.
You know what though? Okay, I have had thoughts about this. You know, when you leave a conversation, you're thinking about, oh my God, it says, what would Goggins do? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's hilarious. Okay.
Yeah, that's how we roll.
You know how you'll leave a conversation and if something impactful happened or something vulnerable happened, you'll think about it and be like, oh, I should have said something different, right?
All the time.
But people think like, oh my God, like I shouldn't have said that because I care what people think about me. What they don't think about is that like that thing that you're thinking about was so vulnerable. It reached a place where like you didn't want to show people that.
Yeah.
That's what that is. And I have moments like that on a day-to-day basis where I'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. Or like, oh my God, are people going to judge me for that opinion? Or was that too cocky? Or was that too whatever the verb or adjective is, right? It's like, wait, hold on a second. Why am I feeling this way? I showed a part of myself that that is vulnerable, that is not fully like confident or whatever. I think that's
beautiful.
Cool.
Very cool.
Good.
Like you should be feeling that daily, and not in like an anxiety. I shouldn't have said that way. In like did I like show a part of myself today a little bit more than I would have yesterday?
Exactly.
So like
That's how I feel.
Yeah, right. Like you jumping and doing the podcast, or like you put yourself out there every day with your content, right? And I will tell you, Neema, like I commend you for owning your body.
Yeah.
Because that I think is so vulnerable in a society where we're like, you need to look perfect or don't show us your body. Right?
I don't give a fuck.
I know.
I haven't gave a fuck since the beginning.
But it's amazing. I feel like I hope deeply that there are people watching you that feel like empowered,
inspired.
Yes,
that's
to go do the same thing.
For sure.
Right?
No, literally, there were so many comments on that video that I took my shirt off like 3 times in the interview. There's like a few comments of like, different ways of saying like, oh wow, like with something around the lines of like the body to confidence ratio is like unheard of here. Because like obviously like with a body like mine, typically someone shouldn't be confident.
Right.
Well, I'm like the most confident person. Like,
and on top of that, you're confident enough to like take care of yourself and put it out there while you're taking care of yourself.
And being aware that you are looking like this and that it's okay, like because you're working on it.
Exactly.
That's the whole point. And that's why we try to do what we do and to inspire people as well, not just be funny, but the whole point is to inspire other people who are going through the same shit that I am with my body to be like, yeah, man, like fuck it, who cares? Like, I don't know, people, for sure. A lot of people are gonna be like, that's fucking gross or you fat fuck. But there are some people who are like, oh wow, like I can actually just be myself and be more confident and feel better. Who cares what other people think?
That's it. That it really does come down to that. Like, who cares what other people think? Like, do you feel good?
Yeah, that's all. I think that's all that matters.
Yeah, absolutely.
The most important thing, at least, is how do you feel?
How do you feel? And also, how are you going to look back 10 years from now and say, what did I do to be the best version of myself?
And not abandon yourself.
Yeah.
You can't judge yourself.
Well, I like speaking of like eating disorders and stuff like that. When I was in university, I had an eating disorder and didn't really know I had an eating disorder.
Too much or too little?
Wasn't eating and was working out like crazy.
Trying to achieve some shape or some look.
Yeah.
Because every other girl looked like that.
Right, because like you need to have a flat belly and you don't want to
huge porn star tits, huge ass,
bubble butt,
unrealistic.
Yeah, and
actually unattractive. If you ask a lot of guys, you'd be surprised.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Oh well, it's super funny because I was dating a guy at the time. I was in a serious relationship at the time, and I lost all this weight, and he was like, well, you don't even have a butt anymore. Like you don't have any. And I was like, all the things that I thought you wanted from me is like, it's gone now. Right. And then, with actress stuff, like the camera puts on 10 pounds and all that kind of stuff.
Damn, that's so hard.
It's but when I was at the weight that I wanted to be, I was miserable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was miserable. Yeah. And it's like, you don't realize that like, and I wasn't doing it right either. Like not eating. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's not the right way.
Right. It's not the right way. So my mental health was awful. I remember going to my Joe job. I was wrapping pitas at Pita Pit.
It's okay. We all been there, man. He works at Domino's and Harvey's. Don't worry.
Yeah.
My
and Pickle
God, I
Barrel.
was so bad at that job. Like I wish I was not given hands to wrap pitas. Like
I would love to compare how bad you were at that and how bad he was at handling chickens at Swiss Chalet.
Dude,
Maybe that's a laugh for a
tell
different day.
story again.
Okay, let her finish first. Hold on.
Yeah, I'll do it another time.
But I walked into work. It was a hot day. I was wearing what I thought looked good. And it was a very hot day. I was wearing very tight jeans. Had not eaten. Walked into work from the heat to the air conditioning. My body, with no food, my body gave out and I fainted.
Whoa.
Legit. I didn't see the story going that way.
Jesus.
What the fuck?
I fainted and then I had to get my employer to drive me home. 'Cause
Wow.
I couldn't, right. And then I was like, wow. I look like a dime, but I feel like
an ass.
A 0 cent.
0
Yeah.
cent.
All right.
A penny. not
penny.
in circulation.
Wow.
A dirty penny too.
Yeah.
Not even one of those nice shiny copper
Yeah.
pennies.
It's been
64.
Yeah.
It's been under the
Yeah.
ground for like decades.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
In
been
subway tracks. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know that.
exactly.
I know that penny.
Shitty penny.
You
Yeah.
got a penny over there like that. Yeah.
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 Damn.
Collectible, but not great. Yeah.
Yeah. Very well said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so.
I was gonna add to the thing of like a couple points back of like his confidence in the body thing, and I think so. One of the reasons that we do the coaching sessions is to actuate actions to have a different outcome. And so, my suspicion and my belief is that by you taking the actions of like eating better, getting the help you seek, whether it's from me or other people, actually doing the reps, literally like in a gym, like putting in the reps, doing the action is, in my opinion, what is giving you the runway to sort of like take off and like take, no pun intended, like take your shirt off, but because you know that this is a work in progress. You know that this is your prototypic in nature. Like what you see is what you see now, and this is how I am, and this is what I look like right now. But I know, and like I'm saying this to you, like you know in your own brain, like I'm actually doing something about it though, right? And I'll finish by saying this. So this morning, actually, I saw a comment from somebody to me on my own YouTube channel on one of his videos, because I try to like comment to like, show love. And somebody replied back saying something like, oh, like if you guys really want to like do better, you need this harsh criticism of like, stop taking your shirt off. And like
I saw that
something
last
like
night.
that.
I was actually going to bring it up.
And so the reason I'm bringing this up is because for two reasons. One, if this was the old me, it would have been it would have been a verbal evisceration. Like he would have blocked his own account from the internet. But I was like, you know what? Let's choose a higher path.
Not always the right way, but okay.
But so what I've asked some people who like are so egregious sometimes in like their commenting or whatever, I go, listen, if he takes the actions that ultimately result him in having a better vlog or more better look or whatever it is you're critiquing. I know. Mine's on it. Critiquing, will you admit to you being wrong? And I said, don't understand my tone as aggressive. I just want to know if this guy turns out to look better than you're currently critiquing him for and his views on the vlog and whatever you think is the reason he's not successful. When it becomes that way, will you own your words? Like, will you put your money where your mouth is? Because I'm actually not interested in convincing people. I stopped doing that a long time when I genuinely understood like you can't actually do that. Anyways, but I'm curious if people are willing to be a man, so to speak. Like, will you be like, I was wrong? And that's what I'm looking for, because to slightly transition that, the reason I'm bringing this up is because there's, I think, value in that dark energy of like, I'll fucking show you. But it can't be. It can't be all of it at all. It can be that little 10% just to give it a number. Mm-hmm. But if you and that's like the Michael Jordan, like, because he's an Aquarian. So is Cristiano Ronaldo, by the way.
Oh, fuck,
so there's a few goats in there.
Damn.
And
Cristiano.
So this is maybe one of the times where I will like use it to my own. It's like a confirmation bias. Like, oh, now I'm Aquarian. Mm-hmm. One of on that point. But one of the things that I do have within me is that Michael Jordan in that. I don't know if you've seen. Did you see the Last Dance, or did you hear about it at all? Just really quickly, it was the story of essentially Michael Jordan, but it had something to do with the Bulls and the three-peats that they won in the championship and Phil Jackson. And anyways. So the Michael Jordan thing, he's in a restaurant in Chicago, having like a steak or whatever, like the day before Game 6 or Game 7, finals, something like that, in the finals, right? So very big stage. The opposing team's coach is in the restaurant also, and when the dinner ends or whatever, the coach gets up and like walks by Michael Jordan's table, and he doesn't acknowledge him, like doesn't say hey or whatever, like just like not snubs him, but like I don't know, just like walks by him. And then it cuts to the current day moment of in the show in the documentary when they're explaining that scene. And he's like this, like the deadpan. He's like, that's all it took.
Yeah.
Just not saying hi to me. Like,
And I took it personally.
took it personally, right? And then he's like, and then what does he do the next day? Drops like 60 points. It eviscerates them, right? I really like that dark energy. If I'm being honest, I almost fantasize about it sometimes. Of like,
gets me hard.
Please God, I know it's fucked, but let me get through it. I'm like, I'm not even really sure, but please God, let there be somebody today who doubts me.
Yeah, I know.
Not because I want to punch them, because I'm like, it's like a free, unlimited source.
It's
if
an
I want to
obstacle.
accident,
Yeah.
I fucking love it. And this guy
100%.
today, Benjamin K, whoever you are, because I'm not afraid of saying your fucking name.
Yeah.
I don't hate you, but I'm gonna prove it to you. Like, I'll wipe the floor with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know that I can now.
Yeah.
Now I know. I'm like, oh, the physics of progress is a thing that I learned. And it's really just a scientific method. I have to think of something, try it. If it doesn't fail or it does, adjust and do it again. And then you keep going, right? It's so easy.
Yeah.
Now that I know that,
It's over.
Over for this guy. And I'm going to make a vendetta out of it to prove not to prove my point, but to shut people up and permanently shut them up.
Yeah.
I'm in the business of fucking proving a point. Again, not immature like I used to be.
That might be an Aquarian thing.
That's 100% Aquarius thing. But you know what? I think the world needs people who are disagreeable like us. Where I'm like, nah, I don't know about any of that shit. How about X, Y, Z? Because there are people who are super agreeable. There's people who aren't like. But I think we need all sides of it.
For sure.
This is the role I'm playing, man. This.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
But it's true though. You do need, like, again, it's an obstacle. Like, humanity thrives on obstacles.
Yeah.
Thrives.
I love
Nothing. If everything was
fair play and everything is fine. Yeah.
No obstacles.
Yeah.
Some
It's not
of the
fun.
best inventions wouldn't be made.
Exactly.
Very good.
Like, we need that. Like, you need someone to doubt you
100%.
to succeed.
Yeah.
You need something in your way to succeed. Okay, weight. You have most of the weight stuff is in your brain a lot of the time.
When you say wait, I mean like the
Like weight gain.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
a lot of it's in your head. Okay, for most people, it's more in your head than it is because why are you consuming? Right. Okay. So you have the obstacle in your head. You have the obstacle of what you're carrying. Say whether you're large or skinny doesn't matter because it's all in your head, right? That obstacle of that weight, that goal weight, there's another obstacle in your way of why you're not doing it. Why are you not working out? Why are you not eating? What do you believe that you can't do? Like, all that stuff, it's an obstacle. And when you get there, when you do it properly, you feel amazing. It's like, I showed you. I showed me.
I know.
Just getting over like limiting beliefs. Is that what you're getting at?
Limiting beliefs is probably the main thing. I honestly didn't realize it for so long that, like, weight gain comes down to your mental state and mental thoughts.
Yeah. Well, without that, you can't make the decisions to not help yourself.
Exactly. So either you decide that like negatively, you decide I'm going to not eat, or you decide the harder choice, I'm going to measure what I eat, or I'm going to monitor what I eat. I'm going to go on like a
Choose
super
better
diet,
options, yeah.
or I'm not going to work out, but I'm going to binge, or I'm going to work out 5 times a week.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it's all in, it's
all in your head.
lot of your head. And then even before you make that decision, why are you consuming food all the time? Like, for me, like, and I'm talking about me specifically, I'm not talking about anybody else, but I do believe that it comes down to mental stuff. Is like, why was I consuming? Okay. When I was emotional, I wanted to feel a dopamine hit. So I would consume because that made me feel good. And then I gain weight because I'm consuming without thinking about it. I just want to feel good. I'm consuming.
It's not for your actual like need for food.
No.
Your body's need. It's your mental.
It's your
mental.
mental.
You're trying to like distract yourself from whatever else that you're feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, right. So, but like at the end of the day, the obstacle is gonna be your success. That guy being like, fucking whatever.
He wrote like a fucking massive paragraph too.
Oh, those are the worst people.
And he's saying it in a way of like Jesus Christ, come on guys, like you want to be popular, start doing this. I'm like, bro, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
That's actually something that really bothers me. People will like give their input on like what you should do to be in or to be popular or whatever. It's like, okay, so 70 people tell you that this is the one way, so that makes it the right way.
Yeah. All right.
7 people tell you to keep your shirt on, and that's what's gonna fuck that. There's that one person that says keep it up. Like,
I don't
so
care.
this reminds me of another one of Gary Vee's school of self-awareness lessons, which is and I actually originally wrote out this message back to this person saying, listen, like, It was much more aggressive, but I didn't say it. Because I go like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I did the 10 counting thing. Actually,
you remembered too?
Wow, good for you.
You are.
Well, I was
bigger than
sitting
me.
and I had, a keyboard warrior at a time in front of me, right? So
Okay, yeah.
I was gonna say to him was like, well, I literally just can't listen to you because I can't hear you. Because if we were in a soccer game, I'm on the field playing and you're in the stadium on the seats.
Exactly.
You're not even in the game.
You're outside.
How could I actually listen to you? And that analogy actually is a literal one that works in that sense too. But I was like, and Gary Vee's point, he's like, yeah, but who are you taking the advice from? Is the person you're taking the advice from a life that you want or a skill set that you are striving towards or some admiration you have for this person? No. Okay, well, fuck you. Like, it doesn't have to be aggressive, fuck you. It could just be like, well, I actually can't take your opinion into consideration because you yourself are not a practitioner.
You're not doing anything.
You're not actually doing anything. You're sitting there critiquing like a fucking idiot and then telling me I'm a fucking idiot. It's like, but then this may be the issue people have with food critics. It's like, but you didn't put the restaurant together. You didn't cook it. You didn't
make it. Yeah.
That's why Yelp reviews are complete. It's meaningless. It's nonsense. It's lunacy.
Yeah.
Well,
So
excuse me.
that's how I feel. At least.
No, it's true. Like and also who asked you?
Actually, good point.
Like why?
Who asked?
Who asked you?
Yeah.
I didn't ask you to tell me how to get more views. So why are you?
That person cares so much for some reason.
They're not being impeccable with their word, though. They're not
Very good.
like they're not using their words.
They're not being helpful. They're not being helpful.
It's just
In the
It's all
6
just
years
judgment.
that you've been putting out content on the internet, to my memory, there was one time when somebody said, "Hey, I have some feedback I'd like to share. Like, how can I do that?" Something. And some older dude who's like, he was nice about it, and I implored you. I was like, really engage with this person because the approach was everything. If they turn around and say you're actually the fattest, ugliest, non-funniest person I've ever heard, but I'm not being extreme, but I'm saying like the way that they approached the conversation was, hey, like, I love your content, blah, blah, blah. There's some things that I see. Hey man, his perspective is valid.
For sure.
So long as you can actually communicate your perspective and not point fingers and then throw or cast a judgment at me. It's like, and we desperately want feedback. I tell the listeners on the show, I'm telling you, we want the feedback, but just give it to me in a way that I can digest it. And I'm a big boy. I can take, it doesn't have to be 100% the nicest thing I've ever heard, but like come in the middle. At least give me a neutral, a chance at like, do you know what I'm saying? You know, what I'm getting at like a fucking,
Well, but also do when you're asked.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, okay, guys, like in today's episode, we want to hear what you think we can do better. Or in today's episode, we want to hear what we've done great.
Very good.
And then everything else doesn't count.
Everything else.
I like that. Yeah.
And that's everything just gets better after that. There's better results when people actually approach it the proper way.
Yeah. Well, I always think I used to work at a restaurant and the reviews were something that every night I go to Google and I would read the reviews on the restaurant, which were mostly 1 star. Okay.
Really?
Oh my God.
Damn.
Some laughable fucking reviews, like just so funny. What they didn't understand though, is we were suffering back there. Like we were doing the best we could. The service they got was fucking 5 stars. Okay. Like we were working so hard. The just like, not to list 1,000 things, just to list one thing out of bajillions. Okay. The distance from the kitchen to the restaurant was like a kilometer. Like we were running with our trays.
Wow.
Yeah. Like the amount, like within an hour of working, I would get my steps in. Like we're talking like it was nuts. Okay. So you get the order, 1 table. Okay. Just 1. You get the order, you punch it in, you go to get it. You've already have 3 tables waiting for you because it takes you so fucking long to get it. We didn't have bussers.
God. Oh no.
What?
It was the most stressful environment I have ever been in my life. There was never enough people in the kitchen. We were compelled to carry all the food for 1 table on 1 giant tray, which like nobody has biceps in their wrists. Okay. Like it was,
Yeah, what the fuck?
like-
That's a good one.
and then you have to put it down. Where the fuck do you put this large tray down? Well, you got to find a place to put the tray down on those like little tray balancers, but there's only so many tray balancers in the restaurant. Like just stuff like that. Okay. And they have the audacity to put a 1-star review when I was kicking my ass and then leave like a 14-cent tip. Like,
Oh no.
What?
Yeah, perspective.
Yeah.
So
legit.
nobody asked you to put a fucking review online and telling me about your terrible experience, Linda.
It's always a Linda or Karen.
Fucking Karen.
Yeah, lender.
Yeah, fucking Linda.
But meanwhile, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah. That's it. It's all it is. Lack of perspective.
Like, fucking amazing. You have the confidence that you do. But if you didn't and someone wrote that comment,
it's over.
Fuck
You're
them.
done.
You could ruin their life.
No, there's so many people who just give up right away.
Yeah. So
they're ruined.
who
100%.
asked you?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's always the people who are sad with their own lives
100%.
want to bring the other people down. That's all it is.
100%.
And it's another lesson I learned from Gary V's School of Self-Awareness.
Gary V.
Let me hit that TikTok one time just so she can.
and
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
gonna-
wrap it up too.
And I'm gonna wrap it up with
TikTok?
That was a soundbite. Look,
that was something.
TikTok?
Is that like Gary V or is that you?
Me.
Okay. I wasn't sure who.
TikTok?
it actually kind of does sound like in an isolated one word way. Kinda
Yeah,
like it could actually have been him.
It could be.
fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm gonna finish off with a classic, most classic hate comment I've ever gotten on one of my YouTube videos like 5 years ago. It's like everyone knows about it. I think I posted it a couple of times, but it's been a while since I've brought it back into the light. So I'm gonna read it out for you guys real quick.
Read it.
It's really funny. I gotta find it real quick. To my profile picture. I literally posted as a profile picture on my Facebook. I was that
Okay,
proud
while
of
you're
it.
looking for it, I'll finish what I was going to say about Gary V's thing.
Yes.
So he had Charlie D'Amelio come into his office, who's like one of the biggest TikTok stars, like who.
The shag hair dude?
No, she's a like 16-year-old girl. She's like a dancer, does all that on TikTok.
She's the most
She was-
popular TikToker in the world.
She's like 100 million followers, some crazy shit.
I'm sure I know her face.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he her and sister and family, whatever, came to his offices in New York. It's part of a vlog I was watching. And she was asking, he was like, how do you deal with haters? And this is like one of his favorite things to talk about and riff about it. But I wanted to add to the point of like, it was absolutely the first time I'd heard somebody speak about haters from the standpoint of deploying compassion for them. Like that sentence was like completely, I was like, I can't get there. And I wasn't there yet. And it was that message was, for me at least, ahead of its time. I'm there now, but he's like, really try to embody what I'm telling you. Like, think about you being in that position, waking up, getting on the internet, phone, computer, whatever, and then voluntarily spewing toxic shit into the world, right? He said it differently than I said it, but it's like, imagine how, and his way of saying is like, well, imagine how much that person's life must suck, that they have to take you down.
Yeah.
And they have to, and then he gets into this whole like, why do people want to come into a city and break down all the biggest buildings? Why wouldn't you just want to build your own?
Yep.
That was another time. It was a reframe, right? And I think therapy probably, you would know this even better than I, but I feel like therapy is a lot of reframing things,
Yeah.
right? Like there's so many things you could look at as, your shortcomings, but then, just like every other cliche in the world, like, oh, where's the beauty in it? Or where's the silver lining or whatever. But hearing, I actually really want to make the point again of like, for whatever males are listening as well, like having that guy, literally that male say that, I've never heard lead with kindness. I never even heard kindness come out of a guy's mouth.
Kindness?
Patience, right?
Oh, I found it.
So
Yeah.
Gary V's the fucking
Gary V's
goat.
the
I
goat.
love you.
He is the
Thank you
goat.
for finding my comment that one time, made my day, made his day too.
Yeah.
He said he shed a tear over what I wrote him.
Wow. That's
I wrote him
incredible.
something to the effect of, Gary, like, you may never meet me and you may never know the impact you've had on my life, but you and the messages you put out and your mom, I feel like you're my parent, like you've raised me in a sense, like, and I'll never forget, and like, whatever. And he wrote back, he's like, thank you so much for this. This made me tear up. I'll continue like my work, something like that.
Unreal.
I fucking love this dude.
But like, think
really.
of,
That goes
just
a long
think of
way.
like how much like he impacts like your life. He's probably impacted so many people's lives.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And like, I think that should be people's goals. It's like, how can you better other people's lives while bettering yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine, like, I don't think Gary Vee went into this being like, I'm going to impact you, right?
He literally says, he literally says, I just asked myself how I can give the audience more value, more than I ask them for in return.
Yeah. That's it.
He's amazing.
He is. He's really, really cool.
definitely changed
Before you get
lives.
that, I'm actually we've talked about him enough times now. What's your interaction with?
I follow Gary Vee actively. I had him texting me for a long time too.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's
Yeah,
what you
like
did.
getting those texts,
Yeah,
and then
same.
I was like, okay, I need to like stop getting boo-bopped every like 10 minutes. No, I love him. I follow a lot of stuff, and then obviously when I got off social media, I was less so. But I think he's incredible. I think he's so authentic. I think he, like he walks into a room and he's just himself. And I just think that's so cool. And I think that he is the voice for like our generation and younger to be like, you don't need your shit together by 30.
Exactly.
For me,
What a great message.
that was, I think from him, the biggest thing because,
Wow, interesting.
Because, you know, like by 30, you think, oh my God, you need to have your whole life together, which
Kids,
I
family, and all that
definitely
shit.
don't. Yeah. Which is a whole other thing too. He kind of talks to like, you don't need to do what people are telling you to do. Just like do
What you want to do?
do you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate the do you thing. It's so cliche, but seriously, do you.
Yeah.
And by 30, what? Like, it doesn't mean anything, you know? And one of my relationships, he was like, well, by 30, you're like a washed up old hag. And so for me, it was like,
Wait, pause on the play. What did you just say?
yeah.
He said you're an old, what did
Like
you
he's like 30-year-old women, like they're just washed up. They're old.
Who said
They're
that?
like one
somebody
of my
said,
exes.
no, I heard what you said. I'm saying somebody said this to you.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's nothing compared to
Let me just put the camera on my face so everyone can look it up.
right. And
fucked.
so yeah, so for like however many years, I was fearing my 30s. I was
Wow,
like,
that's crazy.
I'm not going to be beautiful in 30. I'm not going to. By the time I'm 30, I'm not going to be like looked at. I'm
Desired, like, no.
desired, but not only like beauty wise, but I'm not going to be taken seriously. And then you know what I realized? I realized that 30-year-old women, 30 and up, okay, are almost 100% aware of bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And they call out bullshit. And guess what? He was full of bullshit. So he couldn't date someone who was over 30 because all of his like macho alpha
Right.
bullshit.
He's
on.
immature.
Yeah. So he was like, well, you know, 30, 30-year-old women, blah, 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 50-year-old women, blah, blah. And you're like, no, because you know what? They don't
know
put
better.
up with shit.
Yeah.
They know better.
And so then I was empowered. But
So he's a
Nice.
weasel, is what you're saying.
oh my God.
I'm saying
guy.
that actually.
the worst.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
Fuck
the-
that guy.
just
Fuck
the
that
worst.
guy.
But yeah, Gary Vee said like, why do you need to have yourself figured out? And I was, for a second was like, I don't know why have I been telling myself that?
Yeah.
It's nonsense.
Super
What an
fucking
unlock.
young.
What a
It's
great
a great
unlock.
unlock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even like 40's young.
Oh yeah.
Dude, my
50's
50s,
young.
I'm going to be rocking. I don't
Yeah.
care.
No. Yeah. 50's young.
Fuck no.
Honestly, in the next 10 years, next 10 to 20 years, I want to be in a rock band. And I don't.
That's sick. Me too.
And you know what? Yeah. Okay, let's do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You can drum.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my
That's what I'm saying.
God. Yeah.
Are you a singer or like play instrument?
Yeah, I sing mainly. I'm like trying to learn guitar, but I hurt my shoulder and I had to stop for a month. But
You can get back.
yeah, in like
It's okay,
10
50 is
years.
a long time from now.
Can I-
a
yeah,
long
right?
fucking
And just
time.
like in a rock band, like why
sick.
is that not attainable?
I
It
know.
totally is.
Why not?
Same
Fuck
reason
it.
I can't be mayor. No
Exactly.
reason.
No reason.
No reason.
Exactly.
reason.
Okay,
That's
read this
facts.
comment.
Yeah,
I
let's
need
see the
to-
comment.
All right. So this is by a guy named Phil Russ.
What up, Phil?
Philorus?
Thanks for the
Phil
hate, fam.
Russ. This is literally like I'm gonna fucking put this up on a plaque when I'm older.
I just
When
put
I-
it on the wall.
Just on the wall. I'm gonna like put it up like
Blow it up.
it's like this is what made me.
Philorus.
This
Don't
guy
give him any credit.
And I read this all the time. It's so funny. He goes, listen. This is a video that I posted about. It was a street interview of can fat guys get girls? This was 5 years ago.
Okay,
on
so
my
I
YouTube
probably
channel.
haven't seen it.
You haven't. So
Okay.
he goes, listen to me, you fat ugly fuck. I don't give a fuck that you have managed to get pussy by exploiting the fucked up female brain. You are a fat, ugly, disgusting pig, as are the sluts that choose to suck your cock. All women are fucked anyway. You have just found the loophole to their pussy. We will all cancel our gym memberships and become fat fucks like you. How good is that?
Wow.
I want to know who this man is.
And I actually wrote right under, haha, are you my first official hater? This was the first time I ever got a hate comment.
you know what? There's something very satisfying about hate comments.
Yeah, I felt great.
Yeah.
How did you handle it then
I
Yeah.
didn't
at
give a
that time?
fuck.
You actually didn't care
No,
fuck then?
I was laughing. I was with my friend Simon. I used to do videos with all the time. And this guy always roasted me anyways. I was
okay.
like, I'm used to this shit. So
Dude,
I was just
I'm not
laughing
gonna
at
lie,
it.
you got kind of lucky to be honest, because that could have sent people to quit.
No, not at all. It actually drove me to do more.
Well, that's why you're here.
Yeah,
I'm saying
exactly.
like I would say 9.5 out of 10 people
No,
would
for
probably
sure.
have been like, right? Like I don't
Oh
know.
my
What do you
gosh.
think? I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. I think
100%. But you know what, though? There is something to the extent of hate is a bit, it takes the elastic and snaps it to the point where you kind of have to laugh at
That's
it.
what I'm saying. It's so extra.
If he
I'm
was
like,
just
bro.
it's like so extra, you kind of can't be like, I can't take this seriously. You're
Fair
an
enough.
idiot. But if he was just saying like one of those,
Yeah,
things,
it would be harder maybe, but even then I've gotten those too, and it's whatever.
I just feel like you have a really good skin. Like you have a really
Thick
good head on your
skin.
skin, thick skin.
Because of stand up, that's why.
Stand up.
True.
Oh my God, stand up.
All
will do
because
it
of stand
to
up.
Yeah.
you. We'll do it
Yeah.
to you.
That's
I did
what really helped.
I did the danger room because I wanted to scare myself.
Oh man.
And then I
bad
left
idea.
and I was like, no, I left and I,
know
was
it's
like,
good.
I feel like I didn't get hated on enough.
I know, right?
I was like, why are
Hate me
they so
more.
nice
That's
to
an
me?
actual-
Validate me.
So that's an actual room, and it was. I don't know. They don't do it
It
anymore,
still
but
is, isn't it?
I don't think they do it anymore.
Oh.
But because of COVID. But the danger room at the corner. It was every Sunday night. Dan Gyrie and Morgan O'Shea. They would co-host this 3-hour long show, and it's like any comic can go up.
Like you're heckled.
But you have to be okay with getting heckled and like people talking shit and like saying the worst things to you.
I mean,
I
you
would
could-
thrive in that.
Yeah, you
environment.
can literally it's
in
like,
the audience, not on
in the
stage.
audience, anybody. Like you could do whatever you want, and then like if you like if you're not funny, like immediately they'll get heckled and like they'll have to kick you off.
Amazing.
But
Yeah.
also, if someone heckles you, you can heckle them back.
You can heckle back.
Oh,
That's the
yeah.
fun part too, as a comic.
I would also like that part too.
And then, but that's what makes it funny because if the comic heckles back and makes other people laugh, it's really funny.
oh yeah,
It's
for
just
sure.
Like, it's like a battle. That's hilarious.
But this is why wittiness is such a valuable trait in that circumstance,
is.
particularly. I think, right? Like, and I think it's a sign of sharp intelligence or something like
Yeah.
that. Like just being able to connect dots. I wanted to say, he took me to a show, Rivoli,
yeah, the Rivoli.
Oh,
Yeah,
the Rivoli, yeah.
with Paul Thompson, right? He was
Yeah,
the host.
It was
Tuesday nights or something like that.
It was like a Thursday night. And
Thursday
like,
night,
it was a monthly show called something. I don't forget what
Something
it
at the
was.
Rivoli, right?
It was a show about like pretty much heckling too. Like it was
Okay, so he took me to the show. I want to
stand
talk
up or
about
shut up
this-
or some shit. I think
Yeah,
called.
it was really unique. Like he brought me to the show and he's like, so the basis of the show is people get up and they get like 1 minute to, and some of them are amateur, but most
Yeah.
of them, most people are amateur comics, and they get up on stage and they tell a joke, and then
At the
1
1
minute or
minute
something
mark.
like that, there's like a light that goes off that alerts to the audience. It's made for the audience to say, okay, it's been 1 minute. What do you think? And you can now get up and boo,
Boo
bloody murder,
everything, yeah.
or you just sit quiet and like you're going along with it, right? Like it's
Or you laugh because the person's still doing well.
or that. And so, anyways, so the first few people go up, right? And like it's Canada, or maybe that's why, or Toronto, where everyone's polite or charitable, or like they allow, right? And so okay, like no booing or no nothing, even though it's encouraged. And Paul Thompson keeps getting up after every person that goes
Literally.
up. Like 2 minutes is like the limit or whatever. So one way or another, they're gonna
Yeah.
finish. He gets up, he's like, guys, like we're gonna be here all fucking night. Like you guys have to start booing people off
Yeah.
if you think they suck, not just for the fun of it, right? Like if you think they suck, boom off, because otherwise we got like 50 fucking people or whatever.
Yeah.
And so him and another comic that I don't know the name of, were sitting like on either side of me, and I was in the audience. Like I have no participation in the show, obviously. And this guy gets up there and first like 3 words, he's like, "Get this guy off!" Like he was trying to egg me on, right? He's like, "Get this fucking dude off! He
Yeah,
sucks!"
yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, he sucks so much. You're not laughing. You're gonna waste your time." Like whatever. He gives him anything. So finally, I get up in a foul swoop, and I'm like, "Boo! This
Yeah.
guy fucking sucks!" And I just let him have it.
Yeah, yeah.
I know it was in me,
And
right?
then everyone else started doing
You
it.
suck, quit comedy, fuck you, like just booing the shit out of
Yeah.
this dude, right? And then very interestingly, everybody else got up and did the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And I thought that
was
what a
great.
beautiful idea. So I'm going to speak to both sides of it. From the audience side, I think it's interesting from like the sort of psychology of the crowds. And that's interesting. Madness of crowds, you could almost allude it to. I think the other side of it is interesting because something we didn't get a chance to talk about today that you wouldn't have known, but I have to mention for it to make sense is I DJ'd like 15 years of my life. So I'm used to being the only person in the room, like a comic, doing whatever it is. He's telling jokes, I'm playing music. And so I know what it's like to get booed. I know what it's like to get Grey Goose bottles thrown at you for sucking so much. I know what it's
Ow.
like for people to come and pull power cables out of your turntable because they're like, I'd rather hear silence than hear you play. Like I've heard it all, right? And that's why originally I asked the question of like, how did you take that hate? Because so I had like, let's say, I don't know, 9-10 year head start on that, like in person, hearing hate. And it's, it's hard, right? Because you feel like an idiot, right? And like
Yeah.
you have 2 more hours to go and you're like, oh my God, does the club owner also think I'm shit?
Yeah.
And this one, like but reason I'm bringing this other side of it up that I think is interesting because now I have easy access to but you just lack so much context. You don't know, you're not a comedian,
Yeah.
like whatever it
Yeah.
is, that it just makes it like, I can do the Gary Vee thing of like, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying your life sucks automatically because you have feedback that I just didn't appreciate. It's like, okay, well, I don't know. Your opinion is your own. It's an opinion. It's just like, it's like an asshole. Everybody has one and they usually stink. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Cliche.
That's my time.
Yeah. Exactly. That's it. So
you like that one? Yeah, that was good.
Good way to
put
end
that on
it
a t-shirt. Yeah.
I was like, is that the end of the podcast? That was a good way to like.
Yeah, that's probably a good way to end.
Yeah, that's a great time. And look, we said an hour and a half and we're almost at 3. So
wow.
You guys have some videos to film?
3 hours?
Almost.
Jesus
240.
Christ.
240.
Holy shit,
so
man.
natural though. So good.
Totally.
Yeah, I know, right? That's the whole point. That's what we do at Street and Curly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we keep it real. We keep it raw, authentic. And
Just gotta be yourself, bro.
yeah.
Oh my god, that was good.
Bro, you just gotta have patience. Massively underrated.
Very good. That's a very good impression.
I always love doing it.
Do you want to tell people? First of all, do you have any final thoughts or any closing thoughts?
Oh my god, I have so many thoughts. This was so nice. Like, I really liked that I just jumped into a podcast with you, not knowing you. Like, I've known Neema for a while, but just like getting to know his other half, better half.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'm better, but okay.
Meanwhile, I'm quietly sitting.
Yeah, I know.
So that was really, really great, and it's nice to like talk to people about real things. Like, the worst thing is having small talk on something like this. So it's just
which we never do.
Yeah, it's really cool. I feel like I have some reading to do though too. My Kindle's gonna fill up.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. More knowledge, more power.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us. I had
Yeah.
a blast, and thank you for sharing those kind words. I personally feel the same way. Like like I said at the beginning, we just kind of pass each other on the first, first whatever. But it was a pleasure to get to know you, and I appreciate that you came and spoke so forthcoming and shared a lot of things that I'm sure were vulnerable at some point, or like or raw or honest or whatever word you want to use. So I appreciate the authenticity.
It's like the only way to be. It's the only way to be.
And thanks for using big words like wick and wasp. And
wasp.
I can't
I'm gonna
believe
put the show notes.
Shit like that.
Never heard of wasp.
Like I've heard it, I just didn't know that that's what it was.
White
I literally
Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
I thought it was just like a bug, like wasp, like that.
It is also a bug.
Yeah.
The worst bug.
It is
Yeah,
the worst.
it's
Don't
the
even
worst fucking
get
bug.
me started on wasps.
We'll
That's
see
for
you
the other
next time.
3 hour.
A 4-hour episode on wasps.
Slow narration like on BBC World.
Yeah. So you want to tell everyone where they can find you if you have any social media stuff you want to plug or anything like that? Any shows you're doing? Anything interesting?
Okay. You can find me on Instagram at Lost with the C. My name isn't.
What's your?
Someone
send me-
messaged me and called me Thessia, thinking my name was Thessia
Oh my god.
because
so
my thing is
funny.
Lost with the C. Okay, so
It sounds pretty Greek though. I'm not gonna lie.
Thessia.
So it makes sense.
It's actually kind of pretty. Okay, so I'm Alexandra. My Instagram is Lost with the C. My hobby YouTube channel is Alexandra the Great. And yeah, I mean, like everything else is on my Instagram link tree. So.
Any commercials or movies or shows or anything people might see you in coming up or in the past?
Or that you've done?
I was in The Good Witch briefly and in The Dark recently. I'm the dead wife in Tiny Pretty Things
Lovely.
on Netflix.
Must be a riveting role.
You know what? I get into that. It's
Really?
hard being
It
dead.
is hard. It is hard.
Yeah.
You don't just lie there?
You do, but like there's lights and you can keep your eyes open and stuff. It's like a whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah, covered in like sticky chocolate blood. Like
Oh, okay.
yeah, so
Yeah.
pretty cool. And
Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed. Yeah.
The game.
The game.
Odyssey, the Greek one where you go around and the game.
And you have the your voice is in the game?
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
One of
So
the main ones, right?
so a lot of the side quests that the lead character goes on where you have to like go get a totem or like go kill a goat or whatever.
That's so cool.
Oh, wow.
That's me.
That's sick. That's really
Okay.
cool.
Yeah. The one that's like
interesting.
stands out, which everyone will hit because some of the side quests you don't hit, but this one's like part of the main story is this woman has to like give up her child to like save the land, and that's me.
Can you give us a preview of what you would say?
It's like, you have to go, little pebble. You can't stay here.
That's great.
That was amazing.
I love that.
Damn, I might actually
That's
take up
pretty
video
cool.
gaming now.
Yeah, that's why I love it. That's so cool. I want to do that one day.
Thanks.
But yeah, that's awesome. All right. Well, thank you for being here, Alexandra the Great.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you everyone who's watching this. We appreciate you listening and watching every time we post something. We love doing it, and we're gonna keep it moving. So thank you, and we'll see you next time on another episode of Straight and Curly.
See you, everybody.
Peace.